Good evening, basketball fans. This is Mike Pettaway coming to you live from St. Peter's World Outreach Facility in Winston-Salem, North Carolina, bringing you live coverage of the Winston-Salem Christian School Lady Lions high school basketball team taking on the Lady Knights from Hickory Christian Academy from Hickory, North Carolina. This will be our first ever Winston-Salem Christian School broadcast. We've had the opportunity over the last 2 years to do quite a few high school games, and this year we're also doing Salem College basketball, and we are going to cover as many Winston-Salem Christian games as possible. At the moment, we're getting ready for the pregame introductions. We have a few people in the crowd. The game is just usually these girls' games don't start out with a big crowd of spectators. Mostly it's family, moms and dads and grandparents. But this game will should be a good challenge for those of you that may be familiar with Winston-Salem Christian. There is an ongoing historical rivalry between Hickory Christian and Winston-Salem Christian, at least when Winston-Salem Christian was mainly or was just a middle school program, and they have battled numerous times on the court in the CISA championship tournament that had been held in the past at Summit School in Winston-Salem. But as far as the boys teams that are playing today, a lot of these kids played each other in middle school, and Coach Joey McKinney was actually the boys coach with that middle school team, and now he has, as he's taken on the role of the head high school coach and trying to bring the program up to a new level, he is going to be taking on Hickory Christian. And when I look at the rosters on boys and girls, I recognize some of the names that we saw play years ago in the CISA middle school tournament. So it promises to be a real good ball game. The Hickory Christian Academy Knights come in with a 6-1 record, and Coach Mike Miller is assisted by Chad Sigmund. And the one game they did lose, I think, was to an Asheville school, and they don't have a lot of players, but apparently there's quality in what they have. They've got 8 players on the roster. And going over some of the names here for the Hickory Christian, their starting 5 will be at guard will be a junior, number 1, Madison Colbert. And the other guard will be Lainey Sigmund. She's also a junior at Hickory Christian Academy. And Deja Powell is a guard, sophomore guard, will be starting. And a 7th grader, Izzy Wood, will also be starting for Hickory Christian. And a 9th grade freshman, Mackenzie Hartman. For the homestanding Winston-Salem Christian Lady Lions, their starting lineup will be number 2, Sydney Fry, number 10, Michelle Rodriguez, number 12, Kendallin Crumlin, number 22, Jasmine Dennis, and number 23, Ajale Abbott. We've had a chance to watch Winston-Salem Christian play 3 or 4 ball games this year on the girls' team, and their record is 4-4. They've struggled against some of the more established teams. Coach Cooper, Ellison Cooper, is the head coach. He's assisted by Emery Fry and Iris Thompson. Coach Cooper is definitely trying to put a program together for the long term. He's had quite a few players show up, and he's. I'm going to be joined in the broadcast by a member of the boys coaching staff, Mr. Alex Kendall. Welcome to the broadcast, Coach.
Thanks for having me.
I'm going to lean on you for all the expert commentary.
All right.
But I was talking a little bit about how these two schools have a heavy history of a rivalry, both dating way back to middle school. A lot of these kids that we're going to see tonight were involved in those middle school games, and I know I can recall when Coach McKinney was coaching the middle school and how much they look forward to playing Hickory Christian because it was the best team they played.
They do, absolutely.
And it's a healthy rivalry. It's good for the sport, good for the kids. But we are about to get this girls' game underway, and the jump is controlled by Winston-Salem and is taken away, but now it's back in the hands of Winston-Salem. Now it's taken away again. Within a matter of 10 seconds, we had 2 turnovers, Coach.
It is. A little sticky hands in the beginning. I think you always have a little bit of jitters, especially this early on in building this high school program. We went from a really established middle school program to really this emerging high school, and we've got a great group of girls out on the floor right now. Probably a notable player on the floor right now is Ajale Abbott, number 23, freshman guard, great shooting ability, great upside. Has some work to do, but if she puts in the work, she could really be a special player.
There's a turnover at half court. Ball's taken away from Sydney Fry, and the layup is good. Number 1, Madison Colbert.
Sydney Fry with the ball. She's a senior. She's a senior that's played for all 4 years of high school, I believe. Turnover by the Lions.
Short jumper by Laney Sigmund is no good. Looks like the Knights are applying full court pressure off the bat and giving the Lions a little bit of trouble getting the ball up floor.
They are. They've had a little bit of trouble this year breaking a press, but we'll see if Coach Cooper can draw something up to deal with it a little bit better.
Laney Sigmund goes up, no good. It's rebounded by
Kendall
Crumlin, number 3. There's a shot by
Jasmine Dennis.
The roster I have doesn't agree with the numbers that are on uniforms. So.
Oh, well, I can help you out.
I know the
Lions with some full court pressure now. Full court man with a trapper in the middle. Hickory breaks it with ease.
Number 2, Sigmund with she missed the layup, bounced off the rim. Call a foul on number 13. So that foul was called against Mackenzie Hartman under the bucket on that missed layup.
Pressure from Hickory is really bothering the Lions today. Trap at half court. Again, almost forces a turnover.
So Michelle Rodriguez throws it in to Sydney Fry. Michelle over to Dennis Ajale Abbott, Dennis is number 24 fighting for the rebound. Alternating possession goes to Winston-Salem Christian. You were talking about Ajale Abbott earlier, and I know in every game I've watched her play, for a freshman, she's really a great ball player.
She really is, and she's been she was one of those players that really didn't pick up a basketball until probably 6th grade and found a love for it, and is just a natural. She unfortunately does not have to work very hard, which has pros and cons.
Right. Sometimes I guess you don't know how good you can be if you just apply yourself to it. And she may be one of those kind of players that has a lot of potential. It's just, as you say, she's not a lifelong basketball player. It's just something she took up and happens to be pretty good at it.
That's right. I think Ajale is starting to find herself at a turning point to see exactly how good she can be as she pretty much breaks the press right there by herself. But I think Ajale is at a good spot. I think she's starting to realize how good she can be.
Shot is up and no good by Abbott. She gets her own rebound. And Sydney Fry takes a dribble, had intention of shooting, but backed out. That goes out of bounds. It was a shot by Crumlin that was short. Goes across the end line, will be Knight's ball. 5 minutes and 30 seconds to go in this first quarter. Lions trailing 2-0. Some full court pressure applied by Winston-Salem. And They break the press. Nice pass for a layup, but it is no good. A foul is called on the shot. Number 23, Ajale Abbott, commits her first foul of the ball game. And it will send number 2 to the free throw line, Laney Sigmund, for 2 shots. First one is no good. Coach Miller calls over Deja Powell and gives her some instruction and trying to shore up the defense on this press. I'm sure there's the second free throw, and it's good for Sigmund. 3-0 Hickory Christian. There's a turnover on a pass from the pressure, trying to get the ball up court. Number 5 for Hickory Christian, no good. That was Izzy Wood.
You know, Mike, I've been very impressed by the disciplined press from this Hickory Christian team. Well coached, well played, and they are just at Winston-Salem Christian calls time. They are just having a fit with this pressure as the score is now 3-0.
And by the way, number 5 is a 7th grader for Hickory Christian. So
wow,
can you imagine how good she's going to be by the time she gets in the high school ranks?
Wow.
And I was saying earlier, he doesn't have a lot of players, but the 8 players he has apparently are pretty good. They come in with a 6-1 record. And no matter who you play, if you can win 6 out of 7 games, you have to have something going, good for you, I would think.
Absolutely. He seems like a blue-collar, hard-nosed coach, does things the right way, isn't trying to score fast, and is showing in the character of his team right now.
I like the way they came out with the pressure defense, and obviously if you get a team rattled early and keep them from bringing the ball up floor, that can have a long-term impact on the ball game. So he's wanting to apply the pressure and get to the lines as quickly as possible.
You're exactly right. That is actually something that worked to our advantage in the summertime when the men's team played East Forsyth with star point guard Drew Cohn. We actually ended up beating East Forsyth by 10 simply because we jumped out in front in the first 5 minutes, and they just simply never recovered.
Another turnover. The Lions got the rebound and was trying to bring the ball up floor, and it slipped out of Kendall's hands and went over the inline. Inbounds under the bucket, tied up with, looks like that's Ajale Abbott with Madison Colbert. So the alternating possession goes to Winston-Salem Christian. They are having a heck of a time getting the ball up the floor.
Yeah, Sydney Fry's having a really tough time. She's going to need to get the ball back to the middle of the floor. They want to pressure you to the sideline. They love the sideline because they trap you. And she's just having a really hard time keeping the ball in the middle of the floor.
We had a couple substitutes come in for Hickory. Kirsten Burton and Lauren Meyer came in for the Knights. And another turnover gives the ball back to Hickory Christian. Sigmund drives the baseline, no good. Rebound fought for, goes out off the hands of a Winston-Salem Christian player. Lions applying some pressure. Turnover. Sydney Fry down court, intended for Michelle Rodriguez, but the ball is. That was Laney Sigmund going after the ball out of bounds, and as you might have heard our coach say, it was a great hustle. The ball remains Winston-Salem Christian's possession. Michelle Rodriguez.
Good shot fake.
Goes down the baseline.
Good
underneath. Look. Nice feed to Ajale Abbott.
Best play of the game so far.
That was a great, Michelle drew the defense to her and just passed it off to Ajale. Now we got a fast break for Hickory Christian. Layup is no good. The putback is good by Deja Powell. 5-2, Hickory Christian on top.
Oh, good pass.
Now they've got a 2-on-2 with Crumlin. She backs the ball back out, throws it to Fry. Fry tries for a three-pointer from deep beyond the top of the key. No good. Rebound off to Madison Colbert. Another corner shot taken by Hickory Christian. All of a sudden, the pace is picked up here, Alex.
Ajale Abbott on the fast break. Stumbling.
And
she misses the layup.
Layup rolls off the front of the rim. Just did everything right, but put it in the hole.
You know, Mike, it's starting to look like a ping pong match here.
It is. You know, is this a WNBA we're watching or what is it? But right now with 2:44, another stoppage of play. They're going to call a foul on number 10, Michelle Rodriguez. Commits her first foul.
Cameron Hutchins about to check into the game. Cameron's a good player, good all-around athlete, plays volleyball for Winston-Salem Christian, and it's just a good sophomore athlete. She's in student leadership, SGA, at the school, and we'll see what she can bring to the game here.
She's also one of my best photographers at tradsportscoverage.com.
She is. She's very talented.
She is mature, well beyond her age, and a very talented young lady. So that free throw is good. It's 6-2 with the Lady Lions trailing, trying to bring the ball up. Some more full court pressure, little contact, no foul called. Michelle brings it.
Just over the head of Kendall and Crumlin.
Best way to beat a press is passing it, but you got to be accurate with the pass.
That's right. Just enough pressure to get under her skin a little bit, force a bad pass. You know, even for the guys' team, we measure turnovers in bad shots off of a press.
Mm-hmm.
Just even though we don't get a turnover, if we can force you into a quick or a bad shot, we will count that as a turnover for our press.
Ajale with a bad pass, and Hutchins makes a dive after the ball does go out of bounds. I think Ajale got a little bit ahead of herself on that particular play. She had the ball out in front of the other teammates and didn't wait to set up in time for a good pass.
Good pressure.
Great play by Michelle Rodriguez, denying that inbound pass.
I like this pressure by the Lions. It's fighting back, saying that they're here too.
Mm-hmm. Izzy Wood, the seventh grader.
Good block by Kendall and Crumlin.
Lauren Meyer had her shot blocked by Crumlin. That was Madison Colbert. She had a great idea trying to feed it low under the bucket, but a little bit long, a little bit too tall for the player that was under the board for Hickory Christian. And we have Mackenzie Hartman and Deja Powell coming back in the game for the Knights.
Let's see what the Lions can do here. They're beginning to get a little momentum under themselves, under their feet. See if they can do something here.
We have a wide open player under the bucket, and it is up. Cameron's shot goes up and no good. Rolls off the rim for a rebound, goes to Hickory Christian. Laney Sigmund bringing the ball up the floor. Coach Miller yelling out for him to set up the offense. Madison Colbert dribbles to the corner, comes back out to the top of the key, over to Wood. Wood looks to drive across the lane. There's some contact. The ball's knocked loose. No call by the referees. Minute 19 to go in the first quarter. Good defense by the Lions, and they...
Foul by Jasmine Dennis.
I call that defense a matador defense.
That's right.
You walk up and you just kind of let them go right around your side. And that was a little lap. I guess it was a lapse of concentration on Crumlin's part because she gave the baseline to Colbert.
She did, and then Jasmine did everything she could. She saved an uncontested layup.
So Colbert converts her first free throw with a minute 12 to go in the first quarter. 8-2 score in favor of Hickory Christian. Second free throw is no good. Rebound went to Hartman, but it was taken away by Winston-Salem Christian. Michelle Rodriguez looking for someone to pass it off to the right. Abbott back to Rodriguez. Skip pass over to
Anna Bass.
Anna Bass, who is number 20 in these uniforms.
Timeout by Hickory Christian.
We got 53.6 seconds to go in the first quarter. The Knights enjoy an 8-2 lead. I noticed that in the other games I've watched Coach Cooper's girls play, sometimes it takes them a while to get going. They can't hit a layup. They can't hit anything for the first, sometime almost a whole quarter like it is today. But once they start realizing they can score, they can penetrate, they can rebound, they've got some talent and they've got some desire to want to play basketball. It's just sometimes you come out and maybe that press kind of shell-shocked them a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe some of these girls that play middle school, it may be in the back of their head that these are the Hickory Christian Knights.
That's
and,
right.
You know, they've had some struggles with this school for a lot of years. So
that's right.
You know, a lot of any sport is mental. And
that's right.
If you come in the game, you're thinking you're going to get beat, then chances are you probably are.
Yeah, and I think you hit the nail on the head. I think so much of this is a mental game, and especially even just with the young age of especially this Winston-Salem girls team, of just really believing in who they are. And you're right, they come out very slow, but their second and third quarters tend to speed up a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll be interested to see what the second quarter holds in about 29 seconds.
So Laney Sigmund converts a uncontested baseline layup to move the score to 10-2. Is 25 and counting left in the first quarter. There's a bad pass, but it is recovered by Bass. And Abbott with an air ball from the corner.
Ajale Abbott. Here's Michelle.
Michelle Rodriguez, pump fake off the iron, no good. Hartman for the rebound. Hartman pulled it down, and it was almost a tie-up, but they were able to get the rebound for a pass down court, and it was an uncontested fast break layup by Laney Sigmund. And the first quarter comes to an end with a 12-2 score in favor of Hickory Christian. I'm not really surprised, Alex, after watching how this team starts, but they do need to start scoring some points.
They do, and they need to do it in a hurry, or else this could turn into a bloodbath pretty soon. You know, and I think a lot of it hinges on just being able to get into your offense. The press has halted them from really getting into what they want to do, and the girls run a motion pass and cut offense that works great if you can get into it and stay in it.
Mm-hmm.
You wear down the defense, and eventually they make a bad decision. You have a layup. But with the pressure and not being able to get into their offense, they're experiencing some pretty significant difficulties in getting into their offense.
And I think once they do get the ball across midcourt, they're in such a hurry then, but they don't take time to set up the offense. They make a bad shot, an errant pass, whatever. So they've not had the luxury of dribbling the ball down the floor and say, let's set up and run our offense. It
That's
just
right.
hasn't happened on any possession.
That's right.
So we'll see how the second quarter unfolds for the Winston-Salem Lady Lions. They've got only 2 points on the board and trailing by 10.
Is this thing on?
And we have Coach McKinney, who is I don't know what I'm going to call him, but he wanted to yell into the microphone. You know, we take people like that and put them in handcuffs and haul them away.
That's right. That's right. Coach
So
McKinney's a great guy.
He is. He's wonderful. I just think he's a great coach. And that was a great defense by Winston-Salem Christian. They forced a turnover. The ball came inbound, and the night player threw it back to her teammate who was standing out of bounds.
Good pass, Kendall and Crumlin.
Crumlin over to Abbott to Rodriguez in the corner. Her shot is blocked. Goes out of bounds. Still will be Winston-Salem Christian's ball. Cameron Hutchins under the left side of the board, taking it out. She hollers go, and everybody moves to the same spot.
They're having some trouble on the inbound.
Yeah, Rodriguez is going to make a pass to the corner for Abbott. Back to Rodriguez. That was a telegraph pass intercepted, intended for Kendall and Crumlin, taken by Deja Powell. They quickly moved the ball down the floor with Izzy Wood dribbling between two defenders. There's a three-point shot by Madison Colbert from dead on top of the key.
That's a beautiful rotation, good-looking form.
It was great. I mean, she had wide open shot, and she took it. And 15-2, and now we got another, almost a turnover. Now the Lions do bring it all the way down with Abbott missing a layup, and then Crumlin trying for a putback is knocked out of bounds. Substitutes for Hickory, Kirsten Burton and Lauren Meyer come back in the ball game for the Lady Knights. Coach Miller is using, I think, about 7 players pretty freely here, trying to keep fresh legs on the floor.
Yeah, yes, he's got some freedom right now as well. He's got a nice lead to get some young players in. And still the Lions are still having a lot of trouble getting into their stuff, and it's the same story for them right now. But, I really admire Coach Cooper in this first year of this varsity program and the work that he's done. He's a good friend of mine. He's a great teacher at our school, but has invested a lot of time. And whether these girls win or lose, they love him as a coach. So I'm really proud of the work that he's done for the Lady Lions program.
There's another basket for Hickory Christian. And it's no secret, too, Alex, that he's not blessed with a lot of great basketball players. I mean, this is an upstart program, second year in existence, new coach, new philosophy. And he doesn't have the luxury of having kids who've played for him or for anybody for 4 or 5 years in a row. So
absolutely,
he's taken what he's had and done a remarkable job with it, I think.
He has, and I think our school is just at a turning point from the growth that we've experienced of having students that happen to play basketball and basketball players that come to our school to be students.
Right.
And we are experiencing some influx of that kind of student, especially in the boys team. And I think with the success of the boys team, that will follow with the girls as well, of getting players in that really love the game and play it year-round.
So on that layup made by Hickory, the score is now 19-2, and Coach Cooper calls a timeout to have a word of encouragement with his players. I think it's critical now that he doesn't let the game get really out of hand. And I know I've talked to a lot of coaches that have coached boys and girls they react a lot differently to everything.
They do.
And, but one thing that a coach told me just yesterday, that girl athletes are more team-oriented in any sport they play. They pull for each other. They hurt for each other. They cheer for each other. They're more team-spirited than boys because, boys, they want to be boys, I guess.
Yeah. and they want to be seen.
And, and when they get on the court, the spotlight's on them, and they're going to make sure that the fans know who they are. But the girls are just, and none of these girls that are on the Winston-Salem Christian team have any desire, I'm sure, to be a college star basketball player. That's just not in the cards.
Yeah.
But they enjoy being around each other. They enjoy, and what has really impressed me is that when teams do lose, sometimes everybody gets down and there's finger pointing and backstabbing and whatever. These kids don't do that. I mean, they know it's a privilege to be able to play basketball in high school. There's a long shot by Crumlin. The putback is
good by Jasmine
good
Dennis.
by Jasmine Dennis. 6:06 remaining in the first half.
Good shot by Ajale Abbott and Sydney Fry. Dribbled through.
Nice play by Madison Colbert. She drove the length of the floor, and there's someone wide open down here for Winston-Salem Christian, and the ball is intercepted by Lauren Meyer. Kirsten Burton looking back to Deja Powell, and she throws up a three, no good. Again, he's asking Coach Miller's asking his Lady Knights to turn around and play defense full court. There's a shot by Abbott that goes off the backboard and rebounded, pulled down by Laney Sigmund.
Good pressure here by Michelle Rodriguez. Lions fall into a man-to-man defense.
Colbert drives baseline for a short jumper, no good. Rebounded by Abbott. 2-on-3. She doesn't have numbers, and she loses it out of bounds. Number 10 or number 13, Mackenzie Hartman and Deja Powell back in the ball game for Hickory Christian. Abbott, the long three-pointer. That was a catch and shoot right away. She had her mind made up before that ball got to her.
That was like popcorn in the microwave.
She hit it, and it's 19-7 now for Hickory Christian, still leading by 12 points with 4:40 to go in first half. There's a block by Jasmine Dennis. Ball's loose in the lane. It's kicked out to Laney Sigmund. Her three-pointer is no good. Layup by Powell is no good, and we have a tie-up. Alternating possession should go to Winston-Salem Christian.
Really, as lopsided this game has been so far, we're looking at a 12-point game, which is surprising.
Yeah, it's really the game is closer than what it looks like. Crumlin drives the length of the floor, throws up an air ball, no good. She thought she may have been fouled going up, but no call. Izzy Wood, the amazing seventh grader, is back on the floor for Hickory Christian. Some full court pressure. They break the press, dribbling the ball down the floor. Izzy Wood, the seventh grader, and she running jumper.
Rolls it in.
I'm telling you, that little girl is going to be a great ball player. And she comes right back playing full court pressure defense. Dennis misses the pass. Excuse me, Alex.
It's a good initial crossover by Michelle Rodriguez. Good-looking freshman guard. A lot of upside. Plays basketball year-round. Probably one of the most dedicated players on the floor. Plays for the Winston-Salem Mustangs in the off-season. And has the potential to be a really special player as she gets older.
It's hard to remember that she's only a freshman.
Yeah.
Because she's so mature and so much in command on the floor. She's one of the players that can make this program go.
She is. She absolutely is.
Crumlin dives after a loose ball, and there's finally a turnover. Michelle Rodriguez with the ball going down the right side, stops under the bucket looking for something to do with the ball and throws it up, no good. Rebounded by Hickory. There's going to be a pushing foul on Sydney Fry. Sydney kind of was a little bit over anxious and got too much body contact trying to keep her from heading down the floor, and the referee correctly made the call. I don't say that very often either, Alex. The referee made the correct call.
You live or die by it.
I got doing a college game the other day, and they started calling me Ref Mike because I was questioning everything the referees were doing.
Yeah. As a coach, you tell your players that the referees are not a factor. You are fibbing through your teeth a little bit, but
the one thing that they have to realize is they cannot control what the referee does or says.
That's right, and then they do have to remember that the referees are people with emotions,
and they'll make mistakes too.
And the more that you state your opinion to them as a player, the less it helps your case when you go through the lane and you get smacked a little bit.
Yeah, they don't like to be shown up or pointed out to the crowd by a coach. I witnessed that on one of your boys' games not too long ago.
That is right.
When there was a lot of discussion on the bench.
There was.
And I would say that it was probably justified if it would have been between us guys, but
that's right.
It went out so other people could hear it.
It was, and it was a moment where that we were not proud of, and that we had to discuss with our guys as a coaching staff that we let them down in that area, and it ended up with the end result of having our coach. We had a technical foul on the head coach and then a technical foul on the bench, which resulted in the head coach being dismissed from the bench. Mm-hmm. Luckily, Neziah Turner, a player that was with us at the time, hit a game-winning free throw.
Those two free throws to
seal the game. But I would much rather have won that game by 10 than by 1.
But that was I remember that game, and there was a good chance that you were going to get blown out, and
it was.
They just refused, and they just played hard, and it just goes to show these young players that don't worry about the scoreboard. Play your game, play hard. If you out-hustle the other team, something good is going to happen to you.
It does. It really does.
So Coach Miller over here for Hickory Christian, still coaching, still instructing his young players. They enjoy a 16-point lead with 2:58 to go in the first half, 23-7. So the Lions have actually they've managed to score 5 points this quarter, which is more than double what they scored in the first quarter. Again, we got that trap, and the Lions just haven't figured out how to break a trap. They kind of walk right into it every time, and that was a turnover on a tie-up. So Hickory Christian will take the ball right to the hoop. Short little jumper.
They
no
do.
Good.
I think it's pretty safe to say that there's an absence of a true point guard on this girls' Winston-Salem Christian squad, that they have felt that void just about all year long. Michelle Rodriguez is really a shooting guard. And then Sydney Fry is really more of a shooting guard. So they are definitely feeling the effects of having a true point guard on the floor.
That was a foul called on Kirsten Burton, and on the inbound play that was given to Winston-Salem, they actually created through a turnover, but it was knocked out. So now Winston-Salem has it back with Ajale Abbott bringing the ball, dribbling down the floor all the way to the hoop. And the layup is up off the board. No good. Rebound, Anna Bass. And it is knocked out of bounds. So Anna Bass, Coach Cooper yelling at her to shoot the ball. She doesn't get a lot of playing time, and she's probably not real comfortable on the floor, but she gives everything she has when she's out there.
She does. I think they're a little afraid to shoot the ball. It's never a problem I had in high school. I had the opposite.
There wasn't enough balls in the rack to keep you happy.
Nope,
probably.
I didn't get enough shots when I was in the gym by myself, let alone in the game.
Ajale Abbott breaks away. 1-on-2. Here's the bounce off the backboard for a layup. It's good. Abbott with a great play. Pressure defense again applied by Winston-Salem Christian. Abbott's got to be careful. A lot of body contact. Izzy Wood stepped out of bounds. She, as Coach Miller from Hickory Christian, is implying to the referees and anybody else that will listen that he thinks she was forced out, and I would almost tend to agree with him a little bit on that.
There was a little body on that play for sure.
Sydney Fry with a three-point attempt came up a little bit short, so it will be Hickory Christian ball with a 23-9 lead, a minute 35 and counting to go in the first half. Madison Colbert drives all the way down the lane. Nice feed off to Hartman, and she drills it from right outside the paint.
Big old smile on her face.
She's thrilled. Another turnover.
That's what we call bowling. Came up from behind, swiped it from behind. She went bowling on the play.
That was a travel call against Izzy Wood, and I don't think Izzy is real excited about that call. There was a lot of contact again on that play, but then we have a couple of substitutes. Lauren Meyer coming in, and number 4, Kirsten Burton coming back in for the Hickory Christian Academy. Michelle Rodriguez, no good. Rims in and out. Rebound goes to Hickory Christian. Ball goes out of bounds off the foot of Michelle Rodriguez, who's applying pressure full court. We have a substitute coming in, and that would be Jessica Rakes, who is not number 1. She's number 45. Ball is inbound. Izzy taking it all the way down the floor.
Good contest by Jessica, just wasn't enough.
Again, the 7th grader.
Good steal.
There's a steal by Laney Sigmund, and she is fouled hard by Kendall Crumlin. She helps her up. Very good sportsmanship. There's nothing intentional. It's just when you have a chance to block a shot, you put everything you got into it. And unfortunately, she got more body than she did ball. So
that's right.
Referee makes the call. 27-9 with 45 and a half seconds. Laney Sigmund first free throw is good for Hickory Christian. Coach Miller yelling out to his players to get in there and get rebounds. Second free throw is nothing but net. Beautiful form, beautiful follow through. You can tell these Hickory Christian athletes have been well coached, as you mentioned it right off the bat in the ball game, that they have the fundamentals down. Fry with a three-pointer, and it's good. Sydney Fry drains a three-pointer, 29-12. Full court pressure. They break the press with a pass to half court. Hickory Christian. Sigmund dribbles down between two players, and she's going to be fouled by, I believe, Sydney Fry. She drove the baseline, and number 2, it was Sydney Fry. Kind of hacked her on the arm.
That was a great crossover. Split 2 line defenders. Went to the hole, took the contact. That's a great play.
And at the line is Laney Sigmund for 2 free throws. First one is good. We have a substitute, number 3, Deja Powell, coming in for Izzy Wood. And it's amazing that she's only a 7th grader. See how she's handling herself amongst these high school girls. Second free throw is no good, but Sigmund gets the rebound, goes back up, no good. Rebounded to Ajale Abbott. She dribbles down the right side, stops, and telegraphs her pass. Almost intercepted Michelle Rodriguez over to, that was a short jumper by Sydney Fry, and the horn sounds to end the first half. The score is 30-12 in favor of the Hickory Christian Academy Knights. And I think Mr. Kendall is going to have to depart for his coaching duties, I believe.
That's right. I believe Coach McKinney's coming now.
Well, he was requested to be here at halftime, but I know Coach McKinney does a million things. Let me see. He is heading over here, and he looks so nice with his suit on. I mean, all you guys get all these your neckties and white shirts. I mean, boy, even if you don't play well, at least you look good.
That's
I mean,
right.
You know,
Half of feeling good is looking good.
there
what
you
they
go.
say.
Well, thank you, Coach Kendall, and good luck tonight in the boys' game.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
We are now joined in the broadcast booth by the boys' coach at Winston-Salem Christian, Mr. Joey McKinney. Joey, I haven't talked to you in a while. Haven't talked to you on the air since it's been almost a year, I think.
It's been a while. Good to be back.
But we're first, I want to welcome you back to Winston-Salem Christian officially on the air, because I know you stepped away for a year. You came back. You're taking over a high school program that you're familiar with. You're trying to take it to the next level. On the surface, it looks like everything's going great. But from your estimation, you've had, 8 games? Or 10 games?
We've actually played 10, yeah.
What is your assessment of how the program is doing, not just wins and losses, but how things are coming together?
I think we're on course as far as the grand scheme of things. We're ironing out some kinks that I think comes along with a legitimate first-year program. Guys just getting used to the commitment that it takes to be a top-level program. So they're feeling their way into it. The guys that's never been there, it's probably actually been a little easier for some of these guys that's transferred in from Reagan and West Forsyth, because they're used to going every day and holidays and the day after holidays and every other day that we go.
Mm-hmm.
So we're on course. We're getting better each week. I actually think that this past week was one of our best weeks of practice. So I'm hoping we put a good show on tonight.
Now, you've got a very diverse mixture of players. You've got some that played in some 4A schools. You've got others transfers from other private schools. You've got some of your kids that moved up through the middle school ranks at Winston-Salem Christian. Mm-hmm. How they all gel together? I know that you are a defense-minded coach.
Right.
Has the team accepted that? Some of them, of course, knew you. They played against this same Hickory Christian School in middle school in the big tournaments every February. So
right.
Has all your players, bought into what you're trying to do and know that this is, high school? This is a little bit different middle school.
I would like to think that we had 100% buy-in, but I'm not quite sure we're there yet. Some guys are fighting themselves a little bit and, kind of, fighting the level of commitment that it takes. And it's a hard lesson to learn at this age. So some of them are going through those pains, and we're feeling it. But hopefully by the end of the season, we'll all be together. But, I think we got the majority of the guys bought in, but I couldn't sit here and lie to you. I think we may need a few more extra guys to really commit.
I know that you and I talked during the off season about your vision and your goal for Winston-Salem Christian High School basketball program, and it is a major undertaking what you've accepted the challenge to do here at Winston-Salem. But you've got tremendous support from the administration and from everybody at the school. But how does it feel? You were at Reagan for a year under Jeff Overby, and
right.
great young man, great coach,
yeah,
a lot of great athletes. What did you learn in that 1 year of real intense basketball that's going to help you as you begin to build your own program?
I think the key part that being with Jeff for a year was his attention to the relationships with each individual player. That's one thing that I can say about Jeff, is that he worked on developing a relationship with each kid off the court, and just even his JV players, freshman players, knowing where they are, what they're doing, how they're coming along, and staying in touch with all those coaches that are helping mold them. That was the main part. Obviously I learned some strategic things that I'll always keep, for my year at Reagan, but it's been more about the relationships.
Now, the level of basketball at a Reagan, for example, is pretty high.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously you've got a lot of great players, a lot of good players.
Yeah.
I'm sure someday your hope is that you have the kind of players that the big successful programs bring into their teams. And I know it's a long time coming because it doesn't just happen overnight.
Right.
But is this something that, say, in 10 years, you're going to look back and say, wow, look what we did in 10 years? Because, time goes by quickly, let me tell you. And starting this program, I remember when you coached the high school here before you went to Reagan and taking some middle school kids and being so competitive and being you're a competitive, driven individual.
Yeah.
You love competition. And, quite frankly, you love to win.
Yeah.
But I think one thing that I get from watching you is that you expect these kids to give everything they have because you're not going to put them out there just to take up space on the floor.
Exactly.
And I know you've got a couple of players that individually could probably do a lot of things. But how tough is it to convince someone who could probably average 35, 40 points to become a part of a team? Don't worry about scoring too many points. They'll come when it's your chance. Is that a difficult thing to convince some of these young men?
Some guys it is, I think, because at this age, the first thing that they want to do after a game is grab the scorebook. How many points did I get? So many of them at this age judge their success on points scored. And there's, our coaching staff, one reason why I chose these guys is they're on point with what I believe and our philosophies. And we hammer and preach that basketball is a whole heck of a lot more than just points. So we're constantly reinforcing that. Some guys are definitely accept that a little more than others. And I think that it shows out here on the court with different combinations that we play. And that may be a reason why we keep a certain five out on the courts, because they're playing very unselfishly together, and we like the chemistry between a certain five, because we still are very much still molding that chemistry.
And it's not always your five best players that can play as a unit.
Right.
It's and once these kids understand each role that they are expected to perform, then it's all going to come together even more. And I know you don't shy away from competition. You schedule some tough teams. You want your boys to know that this is, if you want to be in a top program, this is what you're going to have to learn to accept. So
we got Huntington Prep in February, so it doesn't get much bigger than that.
They're a nationally ranked high school team, I think. So
the message that we're sending is not just to our kids that we got here; it's to other kids that might be looking at Winston-Salem Christian. It's a loud and clear message that we're going to compete. We're going to play whoever we can play, wherever we can play them, and that's the kind of mentality that our players that we want to carry over onto the court. That we're going to accept every challenge that's thrown at us.
And it doesn't do any good to go 25-0 against mediocre or subpar teams.
Right.
You don't build any confidence. You don't build any. Your team doesn't improve any. There's no challenge. So
it's going to help some of these kids that have aspirations to play in college. And it's already paid off. I've had several contacts from college coaches this year regarding some of our players. And one of their comments has been, we like the level of competition that you're playing this year versus last year. Some of these kids are getting more serious looks now for the college level because we're not out playing, second,
Yeah, you don't win by 50 points or whatever. You have to play hard and play good players. And that's the only way you can judge the level of someone's ability is how do you perform against real good players.
Right.
And I think it's going to, as you know, as you start building a program and you start being successful, it snowballs. And before you know it, you've got people coming to you and saying, I want my kid to be educated at Winston-Salem Christian. By the way, he plays basketball. Can he be on your team?
Right.
And that's what you're looking for. I know I've talked to Dr. Wolf about some of this, and it's a broader picture than just going out and finding a basketball player.
Right.
Because there's certain things that the school requires, and those don't compare to what you require. Because I know you are a very tough disciplinarian, because I've seen it through middle school and up through high school that just because you can hit three-pointers doesn't mean you're going to be on my team.
Exactly.
And I admire you for that, because you don't win at all costs. You're a coach that I think parents are going to be happy that their young son played basketball for Joey McKinney because you did it the right way.
Well, I know exactly how many assignments each one of my players had this week. I know what assignments they've turned in, which ones they haven't. And it's nothing for me to text a parent on a Saturday evening or a Sunday morning and say, hey, your kid's got to get this assignment in on Monday, or they could end up watching instead of playing on Monday or Tuesday night. So our entire staff works really hard, and not just basketball, like you said, but trying to make sure their grades are up, because Winston-Salem Christian it's tough academics. You gotta put a lot of work into it.
And I know these young athletes, some of them in this particular stage of their career in high school are getting a chance to play sports where they ordinarily maybe would not if they went to a bigger school or some other location.
Right.
And I think the athletes that you have are here because they want to be. They love the game. Like, for example, these girls that are playing right now, they're probably not going to set the world on fire.
Right.
But the effort they give and the smile on their face when they do something good on the floor, I mean, that's what it's about. I mean,
and they're getting an opportunity here to do something they love, where if they was at Mount Tabor or somewhere like that, they may not have made the team.
Right.
And that could be said for some of our guys probably. There's opportunity. I love the slogan of the school this year. It's choose extraordinary, but I also, I always say that at Winston-Salem Christian School there's opportunity. Opportunity to be great.
Opportunity to be great. And it's just, it's hard work and dedication, and sometimes it's easy for a coach to say that to a player, but until that player decides himself to do that, you can't do it for him.
Right. And then to some extent, that's what some of our conversations with our guys this year. Just our last practice was committing to making the tough decisions on and off the court. If you commit to make the tough decisions, then you're going to see progress and you're going to rise out of mediocrity. And you make easy decisions and you're going to be mediocre. It's too easy to be mediocre. We want to be great.
Right. And you have to work to be great. And,
exactly.
And some of the athletes I've covered in the public school system, you hope that some of the things they have learned from coaches and on the field experiences take them into the real world with the same attitude that, we can work harder, we can make something happen. Because as you know, when these kids become adults, it's a whole new ball game.
Right.
And a lot of kids haven't quite realized yet that, like, for example, turn these lights on, somebody has to pay the bill.
Yeah.
There's things that
you can't walk into a day job 20 minutes late and expect them to keep you on board. Like some guys may try to walk into class 20 minutes late, or they may come into practice. There's repercussions, and they learn that. I'm hoping that our guys are at least learning that now. I haven't had anybody walk in late in quite a while, because the last person that walked in late, I think their legs and feet hurt them for a little while.
But see, I think that's important that you're establishing, the ground rules right off the bat. And the players are going to know when they come in to play for you that, he's a great guy, but you got to do this and this and this. And that's just going to make your program so much more attractive to other people, that you do it the right way, but you expect kids to be polite, courteous. Right. They need to be,
hold doors for ladies. And
they've got to be a great role model for other kids that watch them. And remember, they're wearing the logo of Winston-Salem Christian School on their shirt, and people from Hickory see that. They're here today.
Yeah.
They don't know the kid's name, but you know what? If that kid does something foolish, they take that name back to with them, Winston-Salem Christian School. So,
right.
Athletes have to be aware of that.
Definitely want them to respect the name on the front of their jersey. And it's like you've been hiding some of our practices and locker room talks lately, because we've talked about a lot of this stuff.
I know. No, the only time I was in your locker room was middle school when you were playing Hickory Christian 4 years ago.
Yeah.
And the feeling that you guys had after that game, it still ties a knot in your stomach, because it was, and that was such a great rivalry, such great athletes on both teams.
Yeah.
And I look for this boys' game tonight to be equally as exciting as any middle school game you've been involved in with Hickory Christian.
Oh, yeah.
Because they bring some great players. I noticed them warming up, and they've got some tall players.
Yeah, they have some height, some athleticism, but
and we know they're well coached, and it's going to be an entertaining game for the fans, and going to be entertaining for me. I think Dr. Wolf is supposed to come and help commentate the boys' game.
Yeah,
but I haven't seen him yet. So.
Yeah, he should be around. He's one of those L.A. Laker kind of guys, late arriving crowd, coming in about 15 minutes, and he's got all those kids and all that stuff to worry about. So he would be fashionably late, I would say.
And besides that, all the other things he has going on at the school, his responsibilities, and
he has a lot going on. He's been meeting with some folks this year interested actually in transferring to Winston-Salem Christian School. A couple of guys that maybe we'll see soon, maybe we won't. I'm not sure, but we'll see where that goes. But he's busy. That's the kind of things that he's doing. Is if people are interested, they definitely need to see him and talk to him about how to make that happen.
Well, I know I've been involved as a media person with Winston-Salem Christian for 4 years now. This is my 4th year. And you were the first person I met.
Yeah.
When I went up to Winston-Salem Christian, and you were doing middle school basketball. But
right.
I've been impressed with Dr. Wolf and with his vision for the school, his vision for the kids. And he knows that he's not going to snap his fingers and all this stuff happens. But I think if a family chooses to send their young son or daughter to Winston-Salem Christian, the first thing is you'll get a great education.
Exactly.
And above all else, that's important. I mean, we certainly want to have athletes to fill these uniforms up, but you go to school to get an education.
Yep.
And that's not going to be secondary at Winston-Salem Christian. It's going to be primary.
Yep.
And you're also going to learn morals. You're going to learn good behavior. You're going to learn how to be respectful. And then if you do all these things the way you should, you'll get to have the pleasure of playing a sport for the school.
Yeah.
And that's will just further enrich your experience at Winston-Salem Christian.
People forget about the student before student athlete.
They do.
It's not just athlete; it's student athlete.
It is, and
that's a lost word there. And that.
I applaud the school for how they stress that, and I know you've got even this year you had players that didn't cut the mustard on academics for a while, and they didn't dress for games.
Right.
You've got to send the message. You have to make sure that they know that it's your rules, not theirs. And,
right.
And I think that's.
We're going to get guys in and that are willing to work in multiple areas and that are willing to uphold, great character. And if you can't display great character on and off the court, then that's going to catch up with you at some point.
At some point, it will. And I'm looking forward to tonight's game. And then tomorrow night we have another broadcast. We actually have 2 different teams coming in. The girls are going to play Burlington Christian.
Right.
And you're going to play Oak Level Baptist.
Yes.
You played them earlier this year?
Actually, we were in a tournament with them, so I've seen them, but we have not played them yet.
Okay.
Yeah. But looking at the navy blue and the yellow brings me back to last year, how I felt before our Reagan teams played Tabor. And I got to admit, just because of the history and looking at the colors right now, it kind of has a feel for me before this boys' game of kind of like what I felt last year before we played Tabor. That big game feel in the pit of my stomach.
And because that matchup's always a great matchup between Reagan and Mount Tabor, 2 quality programs with quality coaches and players.
Yeah.
And it's kind of a highlight of the county when those 2 schools get together. And I think, as your program progresses along and increases in size and in notoriety, I could someday see this Hickory Christian, Winston-Salem Christian being a big rivalry event that's going to bring in a lot of fans, a lot of interest. And
I'm hoping tonight that it gets some people are coming in because they're going to miss a heck of a game.
It's definitely going to be. Is this the first game you've played this year at this facility?
Yeah. No, this is actually the second game that we played here. Yes, but this is the first time that we've matched up against Hickory in quite some time. It's been a couple years, at least that I've been involved in. So I'm excited to be getting back at it here, and like a little kid on Christmas Eve or Christmas morning right before you get ready to open up the presents and let it unfold and see what we got in there.
Now, have you brought up any of the history of these two schools to your team?
We had a little talk about it yesterday and the day before.
I know the Burton brothers, they remember middle school battles, and Trey Dennis remembers the middle school battles. And
yeah, you don't have to tell Trey and Landon and Logan, but some of these new guys, we gave them a history lesson, and won't tell you what all was said, but they should be highly motivated to play. The guys know if they win tonight, they're going to get Saturday morning off.
That's a lot of incentives to win a ball game.
They know if we lose tonight, then they're going to come in at 7:30 in the morning on Saturday, and we're going to run stairs, and we're going to run sprints, and we're going to get some good old-fashioned conditioning in. So I expect our guys to come out playing hard.
So players don't like to be to have to run or do extra exercises because of a loss. So it gives them a little, I guess, added incentive to perform.
Yeah, and I told them if we can pull this one out tonight, I might have a little other surprise for them later in the week. So
right.
I'm dangling some carrots for them for this game. I'm not going to lie about it. So hopefully they want to fight for those carrots and see what's at the other end of the rainbow.
Well, we're looking forward to not only this game, but to broadcast as many games as possible during your basketball season. I think it's of what I've seen so far, you've got some exciting players. The last game I went to was the last
North Hills.
This last second win for 2 free throws.
Yeah.
And I talked briefly to Coach Kendall about the issues with the zebras and sending you to an early shower.
Well,
which was not, there was a lot.
There's a first time for everything. For those that don't know, that was my first ejection of my career. But sometimes you got to stand up for your kids. We tell them not to say anything to them. We don't expect our players, and we really don't expect our fans to say things for that matter. They need to leave that to our coaching staff.
Right.
And that's one game where even our coaches, we're human. We make mistakes. We may have dwelled on some calls a little too long, and but in the end, we found a way to win it.
The one thing that concerned me during that game, and I was actually taking pictures on the end of the floor, is one of the referees was having a conversation with one of our parents, argumentative conversation. And to me, that's very unprofessional.
Yeah, they should be focusing
when you're calling the game, you stay within the lines and you control that, and you don't worry about what people say.
Right.
And that leads to people feeling like that the referees are not really in charge, and one thing led to another.
Right.
And that just magnifies anything that resembles a bad call. They jump all over them. And if you're going to turn around and have a conversation with a fan, you're going to get ripped apart probably,
Yeah, and I think that on the flip side of that, though, our fans are great fans, but they also need to cheer more for the team and not worry about the officials as much, because that doesn't do us any favors. That doesn't help us get any calls whenever we have people constantly on the necks of the officials. I love them to death, but that's one area that we got to do better in as a community.
And I had the same conversation with Dr. Wolf during soccer season, how they try to stress everybody come to the game, but you come to support the Lions, not to root against the opponent.
Right.
All you do is create animosity and hard feelings. Don't try to make them, out to be anything bad. Just make your team, give them the confidence, cheer for them. And every high school game you go to, everybody, particularly parents, they will pick and choose who they like and don't like on the floor and make comments. And probably in most cases, the kid is more embarrassed on the floor because mom or dad said something out of line.
Yeah.
And, and the games that we play at your school, they're always in small gyms. And if you say something, everybody in the building is going to hear it.
Everybody's going to hear exactly what you just broadcast.
So you don't want to be, airing your dirty laundry at a basketball game because, and the least of all, you don't want the referees to hear it because they will penalize the team, which is, that happens.
Yeah, yep, exactly right.
Have you got to get to your team? I don't want to hold you up.
Yeah, I got to get back here and give them a little pep talk and talk some strategy. We know what we're going to do already, so it's not going to be long. It's not going to be a long talk. We've practiced for a little over a week, and we're ready to get back out on here in the court and get after it. So it's going to be a short talk, but it's going to be an energetic talk, and we'll hit the floor running.
Well, I'm looking forward to it, and I wish you good luck. And come by after the game.
Yes.
Win, lose, or draw, come by, and maybe pick out a player to come over that we can have a word with in the game. And this, like I said, this is our first broadcast of a Lion sporting event, and we're excited.
Yep.
We're looking forward to.
Couldn't have picked a better one.
We've talked a lot all off season about maybe getting to do this, and we're just really excited and pleased that it has come to this.
Well, we're tickled to death that you're here. And
I'm happy for you and that you came back to the place you loved, and I know you're looking forward to building this program, and hopefully TriadSportsCoverage.com can kind of ride your shirt tail along and help out a little bit.
It's going to be a mutually beneficial, I think, relationship. And maybe this one thing I would want to say is I had a lot of people ask why the move from Reagan to Winston-Salem Christian. I get asked that a lot, and I say, well, bigger is not always better. A lot of people think that the bigger is going to get them noticed, it's going to get them this or that. You can get where you want to go at Winston-Salem Christian School.
just work hard and, put out a great product, and people are going to appreciate it. So,
yep.
But I'll let you get over. I see Coach Kendall. He's probably waiting for you.
They're probably getting a little antsy.
He's a nervous wreck over there.
Yeah, I appreciate
Thank you, Coach McKinney.
Thank everybody for listening, and I hope you all, everybody listening, will check out Triad Sports Coverage and follow what they're doing. They're doing good stuff.
Thank you, Coach McKinney.
Yes.
We'll talk to you after the ball game.
Sounds good.
Good luck.
Hopefully after a win.
Let's hope so. That was the boys' coach from Winston-Salem Christian, Coach Joey McKinney. We actually do have a girls' game going on in the background, and I apologize for us not bringing that third quarter. If you're out listening just for this girls' game, I apologize for that. But the score is now 48-27 with the fourth quarter just getting underway. Hickory Christian continues to dominate this ball game, and their defense has been very good all evening with their press and blocking passes. There's an interception and a steal. Mackenzie Hartman following Kirsten Burton down the floor, and Burton actually converts the layup inbound to Ajale Abbott, over to Michelle Rodriguez, dribbles across midcourt, back to Abbott. Abbott over to Rodriguez, looking down low for a pass to Kendall Crumlin. Her turnaround jumper is partially blocked. Jasmine Dennis tried to save the rebound, goes out of bounds. Will be Hickory Christian ball with 7:25 remaining in the ball game. 50-27 lead for Hickory Christian. Hartman inbounding the ball, throws it too far for Deja Powell. Intercepted. There's a short jumper by Crumlin. No good. Rebound. That is Cameron Hutchins going over to the corner trying to haul in that rebound, but it was knocked out by Madison Colbert. It will be Winston-Salem Christian's ball. Rodriguez inbound to Hutchins over to Sydney Fry. She dribbles right. Throws a bad pass in the lane. It's intercepted. 3-on-2. And the layup is no good by Laney Sigmund. Michelle Rodriguez bringing the ball back up the floor for Winston-Salem. Dribbles across midcourt. Defensive pressure, double team. There's a pass that's knocked away by Hartman, and now it's intercepted by Madison Colbert. Left-handed layup is good for Colbert. 52-27. Coach Miller is calling off the full-court press. He's telling his team to drop back and set up their defense. Crumlin dribbling around the corner over to Fry, top of the key. Three-pointer rims in and out. Rebound goes to Colbert. Colbert looking up the floor, dribbles across midcourt with Kendall and Crumlin playing defense, knocks the ball out of bounds. It actually goes off Colbert's leg. It will be Winston-Salem Christian's ball. Kirsten Burton picking up Sydney Fry at midcourt. Pass over to Crumlin to Hutchins in the corner. Is knocked away and goes out of bounds. Will be Winston-Salem ball. Hutchins taking the ball out, throws it inbounds to Jasmine Dennis. Dennis tries to feed Cameron Hutchins, breaking down the baseline. It was pass was low and intercepted by Hickory Christian. Kirsten Burton layup was no good. And the result is a foul called against Laney Sigmund from Hickory Christian, 52-27, 5:49 to play in the ball game. Sydney Fry bringing the ball up floor, passing it over to Ajale Abbott. Inlet pass is intercepted, trying to feed Crumlin in the lane. It's intercepted, and number 4 breaks away for Hickory Christian. Kirsten Burton misses a layup. Ajale Abbott with the rebound. 3-on-2. Rebecca Morgor for Hickory Christian hustles down the floor to stop that layup that was wide open momentarily for Winston-Salem. Inbound pass goes to half court. Nice pass and the layup by Morgor. Rebecca Morgor, a sophomore forward for Hickory Christian, converts a layup. 54-27, so now the Knights have doubled the score. There's a pass intended down low for Jasmine Dennis. It is swatted away, but Dennis is able to save it from going out of bounds. Fry misses a short jumper, and the Knights are on the run again with Kirsten Burton trying to make a layup, and it's going to be a foul called on Ajale Abbott, a reach-in foul. Well, they didn't call the foul on Abbott, so they've turned the ball over. I don't know if it was a travel or they did call a foul against Hickory Christian, but the ball is now dribbled up across midfloor. Sydney Fry stops at top of the key and lets a long jumper go, no good. The rebound is going to Hickory Christian again. They got a 2-on-1. There's a pass down the floor intended for Laney Sigmund, intercepted by Ajale Abbott. Abbott dribbling down the floor, loses control. Kirsten Burton with a long pass down to Laney Sigmund, and she misses her layup. It rolls off the iron, no good. There's a pass stolen by Madison Colbert. She dribbles the length of the floor, and the layup is good. And Coach Miller calls timeout for the Lady Knights. A 56-27 lead here in the fourth quarter. 3 minutes and 47 seconds to play. It's going to be a 30-second timeout for Hickory Christian. We're going to take a short commercial break. We'll be back in 30 seconds.
Hey, it's Biggie, and I'm here with the 2013 Barbecue Pitmasters Alabama champions Ricky Wayne and Pig Daddy of Bibbs Downtown. Gentlemen, what's it like being reality stars?
Hey, it's almost as good as Bibbs Ribs, baby.
We're not Eastern or Western. We're Western.
I'll tell you one thing, I never trust a skinny cook, and these guys got it going on.
Hey, you can bring your family in, or if you like Biggie, come on in on Friday and get your Bibbs fixed.
It's barbecue with a downtown vibe.
They've got dine-in, takeout, catering, and a private event space. Be sure to follow them on Twitter and Facebook, and you can always check them out at BibbsDowntown.com.
We're back live at St. Peter's World Outreach Facility in Winston-Salem, North Carolina, for tonight's bonus coverage of the girls' game between Winston-Salem Christian and Hickory Christian. The Hickory Christian Lady Knights are dominating this ball game at a 29-point lead with 3:30 to go in the ball game. Kirsten Burton with a coast-to-coast drive, but she loses control under her own bucket for the turnover. Michelle Rodriguez and Ajale Abbott bring the ball up floor for Winston-Salem Christian. Abbott feeds Crumlin at the foul line. Back out to Dennis to Abbott drills a three-pointer from straight off top of the key, 56-30 with 3:04. Hickory is slowing the game down quite a bit. They know this game is pretty much is in control. Nice move. Nice drive by Madison Colbert. That was a great move. Crossover dribble down the middle of the lane. Just didn't convert the layup, but she certainly showed she had the moves. Have a foul called on Mackenzie Hartman for Hickory Christian. Blocking foul call on Mackenzie Hartman. She's a freshman forward for the Lady Knights. Winston-Salem Christian brings the ball back down the floor. There's another three-point shot by Abbott off the iron. No good. Rebound, Jasmine Dennis. She's tied up in the lane by Madison Colbert. So it will be Hickory's ball with on the inbound ball. It's knocked out of bounds by Kendall and Crumlin, so it will remain Hickory's ball, taking it out under Salem's basket. Short jump shot, no good. Rebound, great rebound by Mackenzie Hartman in the lane, and turnaround jumper, but it bounced off the iron. Rebound brought down by Ajale Abbott for Winston-Salem. Kendall and Crumlin with a three-pointer. No good off the back of the iron. Rebound. Michelle Rodriguez puts it back up. No good. Rebound. Jasmine Dennis. Sydney Fry with a running floater that is nothing but net from just inside the three-point circle. 56-32. We have a whistle and a stoppage of play. Don't know what that whistle was about, but the clock is now moving. 2 minutes and counting to go in the ball game. 56-32. Nice pass to Lauren Meyer, who was standing under the basket, but she didn't convert the easy shot. And Michelle Rodriguez pulls down the rebound. Ajale Abbott with a short jumper, no good. Abbott is, I think she might have gotten kicked, or she may have a cramp. She's holding her leg. Madison Colbert drives the baseline. Pass gets away, covered by Kirsten Burton. Burton dribbles top of the key, passes over to number 13, Mackenzie Hartman. And Winston-Salem Christian calls timeout. 30-second timeout. Coach Cooper wants to see how Ajale Abbott is doing. She's still limping as she comes off the floor. Looks like it may have been a cramp. She was grabbing her calf muscle, and I think it's a cramp. The assistant coach Emery Fry is administering the proper therapy to relieve her pain from the cramp. Minute 26 to go, and it's 58-32 with Hickory Christian never in any doubt in this ball game. They came out and only gave up 2 points in the first quarter and really took control with their full-court press. Great athletes, great coaching on the part of the Hickory Christian Lady Knights from Hickory, North Carolina. And Winston-Salem Christian gets a long three-pointer from Kendall and Crumlin. With a minute to go in the ball game, it's now 58-35. Colbert taking her time coming up the floor, crosses midcourt with Crumlin token pressure at half court. She's dribbling, time off the clock, and Colbert looked up, I think, anticipating to pass the ball, and it dribbled off her foot and goes out of bounds. 50 seconds, 58-35. Coach Miller is telling his team, do not let them score another three-pointer. Pass down low for Crumlin is knocked away and intercepted. Madison Colbert taking her time, dribbling the ball up to half court as the clock is running down 30 seconds to go in the ball game. Colbert taking her time. I don't think they're going to try to create any more offense with a 23-point lead. Now Colbert drives down to the corner, loses her footing. She does retain possession and looked like she was pushed out with some contact by Sydney Fry, number 2. Fry was a little bit over anxious and had Colbert tied up in the corner, but just too much body contact forced her out of bounds for the foul on Fry. Now it's a 1-on-1 situation with Madison Colbert going to the line 1-on-1 with 4.4 seconds to go in the ball game. First free throw is good. Anna Bass is on the floor for Winston-Salem. She lines up on the lane for the free throw as Colbert sets and shoots, and nothing but net again for her second free throw, 60-35. 4 seconds to go in the ball game, and time is running out as the horn blows, and that's going to bring us to the end of the ball game, 60-35, with the Hickory Christian Lady Knights putting it to the Lady Lions. To put it very bluntly, it was a game that was quickly out of control. Coach Miller. We're going to see if we can get a word maybe with the Coach Miller, if he would come over and have a word about the ball game. This is Coach Mike Miller from Hickory Christian. Coach Miller, thank you for. I just didn't want to interrupt your team meeting, but I want to get a word. I was impressed with your team, first of all.
Well, thank you.
And everybody, we had a couple of commentators. They said how well coached you were. You had a 7th grade girl. She's an amazing little ball player.
She's phenomenal. I'm excited to have her for the next 4 or 5 years.
And you put that pressure defense. The kids did what they were supposed to. I mean, they played so well together.
Thank you.
It must be good coaching. Can I say that?
Well, I don't know about that, but we certainly work on press. I'm a pressure type person, and I want to make sure that when they come out, the other team's prepared for that. And if they are, then we have to change things. But in the meantime, we're going to put pressure on them.
And I respect you for that, because some coaches, they just won't do that. And now, can your team handle the press? Because some teams press, they can't handle it.
We've got a couple, really 2 or 3 girls that can handle the pressure. We're a young team, but we not only we work on pressure, but we work on pressure defense against us.
I noticed Madison Colbert. She's a great little ball player, too.
Madison was Player of the Year last year in our conference, and she has, battled some injuries. She had a foot problem. Izzy Wood, who was our 7th grade player, has had just a terrible back pain. So, we were a little beat up tonight, but I'm still pleased with our defense.
I was making a comment before the game. You only had 8 players, but those 8 players were quality.
They play hard. We're going to play hard every night.
I could tell that they respond to your coaching, and it was fun to watch them. Of course, I'm the home team, but when I see some good ball players, I want to bring to somebody's attention.
Right.
And those young ladies, they impressed me, and very well played. So congratulations on the win.
Thank you a lot. I appreciate it.
And we appreciate you stopping by.
Thank you.
Good luck the rest of the season.
Thank you.
Coach Mike Miller from the Hickory Christian Academy Lady Knights, and he was nice enough to come over and share a few comments with us after the ball game. Just a great gentleman, and what he has some great little ball players, and they really were well coached, well disciplined, and it was great to see how they responded. I know it's a long drive from Hickory out to Winston-Salem, and I think it was Coach Miller was telling me before the game this place was hard to find, so that further complicated matters in the pregame. But once he got here and his players got situated, they took care of business. It was a good ball game. Obviously, being a Winston-Salem Christian broadcasting partner, our home team did not win, but but it was a great game. Everybody, everybody played their hardest, and we know that as good as that game was for Hickory Christian, this game coming up between the Hickory Christian boys and the Winston-Salem Christian boys is going to be even a better game. We're looking for some really good competition. We were talking to Coach McKinney during the first or the third quarter of the girls' game, and we were reminiscing about the middle school rivalries that have gone on for a few years between Hickory Christian and Winston-Salem Christian, and some of the games that those two schools had in the CISA tournament. It was a postseason tournament for middle school teams, and when I look across the floor and look at the rosters, I recognize a lot of names on the Hickory Christian team from the middle school days, and I know how good they were at that time, and I'm sure that they're going to be every bit as good and every bit as competitive tonight as they were back when they were in 7th and 8th grade. The Winston-Salem Christian team, as we were talking to Coach McKinney in the pregame, they come in with a 5-5 record, but some of those games have been against some very tough competition, which is exactly what Coach McKinney is scheduling. He's trying to build a program. He's trying to teach these young players how to accept tough competition, how to give your best at every game. And there's been a couple of players that are no longer with the team. One player, I believe they moved out of town, and another player has been dismissed for disciplinary reasons. And that shows the kind of coach that Joey McKinney is. He's done that in middle school, and he does it in high school. That you have a set of rules to go by, and he not only expects you to adhere to them, he demands that you adhere to them. And if you do not, you will not be a member of his team. And tonight they're going to be will be 2 players short, but he's had a great week of practice. He said he's ready for the challenge, and it is going to be a challenge, because when you look over on the other end of the floor and you see the Hickory Christian team warming up, they are just loaded with talent, great ball players. They've played ball together for years, I'm sure. I recognize Casey Broom, who I remember playing, and Lance Cook played middle school. I remember those 2 names in particular, and they were dominant forces for the middle school team. And I know that they're going to be called on tonight, and they're going to give Winston-Salem Christian all they can handle. Coach McKinney, as any of you that may be familiar with his style of coaching, is a defensive specialist. He believes in playing 32 minutes of a strong defense on the court. Doesn't have any problem with a full court press. He will attempt to take charge of ball games by putting pressure on defense. Sometimes he's successful, and sometimes they're not. But he's got his kids ready for this big game. And we were also talking on pregame about some of the players that he has on his roster were on the roster for those middle school battles, and some of those players that he has that have transferred in or moved in from out of town, they've been reminded in the locker room meetings and in practice that this is a matchup that has a past in the middle school ranks, and even in the short career of the high school at Winston-Salem Christian, they've had some great ball games. So we will see how all this plays out for the Lions. They are, as we said, they're coached by Joey McKinney and his assistants, one of which was on our broadcast for the first part of the girls' game. Alex Kendall is one of his assistants, and he also has Ken Leake as an assistant coach who came over from Reagan with Coach McKinney, and Dexter Tennant, who's been a middle school and a high school coach at Winston-Salem Christian for as many years as I've been involved with their program, this is my 4th season. So they've got plenty of coaching experience with the staff that he's put together at the Christian school in Winston-Salem. We are expecting the head of school, Dr. Wolf, come in and to help broadcast. I know he was a little bit under the weather earlier today, so it may be that I will be here doing the play-by-play without a broadcast partner, but we're hoping that Dr. Wolf will show up at sometime during the evening. They're getting ready to introduce the starting lineup for both teams as both teams have their cheerleading squads on the floor. It's always good to see cheerleaders come and support their fellow students and their athletes. And the public address announcer is now going to, I believe he's going to. They're going to pause for a word of prayer. We'll take a brief pause here. Amen. Your starting lineup is for the visiting team. Number 5, Casey Broom. Starting lineup for Hickory Christian is, as we mentioned, Casey Broom, number 5. And number 11, Landon Smith, will be starting for the Knights. And number 12, Will Duncan, another starter for Hickory. And number 23, whose name is not on my roster, but number 25 is Lance Cook. For the number 25 is Kyler Pardon, so they have the number a number change. He was number 15, I guess, maybe on a home uniform. Now the Winston-Salem Christian School boys varsity basketball Lions will be introduced, starting at guard, number 13, Trey Dennis. The other guard position will be occupied by number 23, Jordan Leak. Forward is number 12, Landon Burton. And another forward is the team's leading scorer, Jamal DeShields. And the center is sophomore transfer from West Forsyth, Jacob Brown. So we have Brown, Burton, Dennis, DeShields, and Leak starting for the homestanding Winston-Salem Christian Lions. Coming in with a 5-5 record, the Lions are going to have back-to-back games. Tonight they play Hickory Christian. Tomorrow night they're going to host Oak Level Baptist over at College Park Gymnasium in Winston-Salem off Polo Road. So we're getting set for the tip-off with Jacob Brown jumping against Landon Smith. Brown controls the tip, but it's taken by Casey Broom. Skip past the Broom to the corner to number 11 with a three-point attempt. No good. Landon Smith's shot was long. Rebound goes to the Lions. Trey Dennis passed off to Jamal DeShields in the right corner. DeShields saw Jacob Brown open under the bucket, but his pass was a little bit too quick and was out of bounds for a turnover. Hickory with the ball. Playing catch out front, back and forth. Now Broom drives the lane, pulls up with a short jumper. It's no good. Jacob Brown pulls down the rebound. Trey Dennis pushing it up for Winston-Salem. Leak into Burton, no good. Ball's knocked away. Broom was heading up the court, and Trey Dennis got a hand on it, knocked it out of bounds. So it'll be Hickory's ball with 7:05, no score in the ball game. Casey Broom bringing the ball up the floor with Landon Smith setting the screen up front. Broom drives down the lane, dishes it out. Smith from the free throw line, a short jumper, and it's good. Turnaround jumper by Landon Smith, 2-0 Hickory. Trey Dennis bringing it up floor, crosses midcourt, looking for the offense to set up over to Leak. Skip pass over to Dennis. Dennis over to DeShields. DeShields backs the ball out, tells the offense to set up. Pass to Burton. Burton back out to DeShields, top of the key. DeShields dribbles in the lane, penetrates through two defenders and scoops it up in for a layup. Jamal DeShields with the first points for your Winston-Salem Christian Lions. 2-2 score, 6:16 to go in the first quarter. There's a steal and a pass that's stolen back by Smith for Hickory. Smith drives the baseline. Cross-court pass. Three-point shot by Pardon, no good. Going to call a travel on number 23. So with 5:59 to go, we have an injury on the other end of the floor. One of the Lions players went down. It's Leak, I believe. Jordan Leak being attended to by Coach, the athletic director, Miranda McKinney, looking over the injury situation as the players are huddled on the sideline with their coaches getting some additional instruction. This game is, with 5:59 to go, they've played 2 minutes with only 4 points being scored by two for each team. Looks like the Hickory Christians missed a few shots. They've had some open looks from inside the three-point lane. They just or a three-point circle, but they haven't been able to convert. It's been a slow start for both teams. Well, we have this break. We're going to go to another quick commercial. We'll be back in 30 seconds.
Today, community means more than the place you live. It's groups of people connected by shared interests and similar experiences. Your yoga class, your work colleagues, your book club. With all the communities in your life, shouldn't there be one for your financial life? We're First Community, financial experts here to work with you on your personal, business, investments, and insurance needs. That's the power of community.
We're back live at St. Peter's World Outreach Facility in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. I'm losing my voice. But the Winston-Salem Lions are taking on the Hickory Christian Knights boys high school varsity basketball. The Lions bring the ball up floor as the injured player was helped off the floor, Jordan Leak. He's been replaced by Josh Hedges. Josh loses control under the board, throws it away. Ball is turned over, and it's turned over twice. A lot of bodies on the floor, but it's actually recovered by Casey Broom. Broom to Noah Hewitt. Hewitt loses the ball to Trey Dennis. Trey on a breakaway hands it off to Landon Burton, and it is taken back away by Hickory Christian, and layup no good. Rebound is swatted back toward mid-floor with Trey Dennis taking control. Coach McKinney calls a quick 30-second timeout with score 2-2, 5:08 to go in the ball game. Had to get a clarification from the scorer, and now she's giving me a funny look. But the roster I had did not have the correct numbers, but 23 is Kyler Pardon and 25 is Lance Cook. So the game is back underway with 5 minutes to go in the first half or first quarter. Josh Hedges with a short pull-up jumper, no good. Rebound, Jacob Brown, left-handed running jumper, no good. Rebounded by number 11 for Hickory Christian, Landon Smith. Lance Cook in the corner, back out to Hewitt. Hewitt over to Broom. Broom drives the baseline, tries to feed into Kyle Pardon, but it's slapped away, and Jamal DeShields drives the lane between two defenders, misses an easy layup. Rebound by Josh Hedges. Hedges throws it back out for Trey Dennis to set up the offense. A no-look pass into Jacob Brown. Jumper by Jamal DeShields, in and out, no good. Score remains 2-2 with 4 minutes and 12 seconds to go in the first quarter. Hewitt looking for a jumper, no good. Broom over on the right corner. Pass into Pardon. Pardon to Landon Smith, and Pardon drives the lane, puts up a short jumper, and it rims in and out, no good. Landon Burton with the rebound. Burton comes down the floor, feeds it back off to the general, Trey Dennis. Skip pass to Burton, in the lane to Jacob Brown. He does a pump fake, no good. The ball is taken away. Lance Cook feeds Landon Smith for an easy layup, 4-2. Trey Dennis bringing it up across midcourt, setting up the offense. Pass over to the Shields, back to Dennis, back to Burton. Dennis drives to the front of the foul line for a short running jumper, and it does fall to tie the score at 4-4. Casey Broom dribbling the ball out front for Hickory, over to Noah Hewitt. That was a pump fake by Broom. He drove the baseline, and the ball was slapped away by Jamal DeShields when Broom got around and headed up the baseline. So the ball goes out of bounds. Will be Hickory's ball with Broom taking it out. Throws it into the corner intended for Noah Hewitt, but the 5'11 guard couldn't handle the pass, goes out of bounds for a turnover, and Hickory settles back on defense with, again, DeShields and Dennis with the ball out front. Dennis being double teamed, tries to dribble through it, and he is fouled. We've had a couple of substitutions come in the ball game. Madison Norwood is in for Winston-Salem Christian, and Samuel Reams, a freshman, is also in for Winston-Salem Christian, and that was a misfortunate play for Trey Dennis. Made a move to backcourt for the inbound pass, and DeShields didn't follow that lead with that pass and threw it out of bounds, so a turnover, unforced error on the Winston-Salem Christian lines. Casey Broom bringing the ball up floor for Hickory, over to Grant Amos, who's in the game now for Hickory. Broom, pump fake on a three, dribbling around the corner and feeds it off to Kyle Pardon. Hewitt trying to drive, loses control. Lead pass to Dennis, drives to full court, and crossover reverse layup, and it's good. Winston-Salem up 6-4. Minute 56 to go in the first quarter. Hewitt loses control and creates a turnover. DeShields drives the lane. He is fouled under the bucket. That was Casey Broom committing the foul, trying to stop the layup by Jamal DeShields. We got substitutes coming in for both teams. We have number 12 coming in for Hickory, Will Duncan. DeShields at the line for two. First one is up and off the back of the rim, no good. Landon Smith comes in also for Hickory, and Robert Willard comes in for Winston-Salem. Second free throw for DeShields. Rims in and out, no good. Madison Norwood trying to get the rebound. I think Madison was a little over aggressive and commits a foul, trying to bring down an offensive rebound. Minute 39 here to go in the first quarter. The Lions are on top 6-4. Casey Broom brings the ball down, feeds it off to the corner to Lance Cook. Cook looking for someone to break. No one moves across the lane. He throws it back out to Will Duncan. Duncan over to Broom, who throws up a three. No good. Rebound bounces out long, and DeShields takes it coast to coast for an easy layup. 8-4. Lions on top. Playing some very aggressive defense. Looks like they're in a 2-3 zone. Or maybe a 1-3-1 zone. There's a deep corner from the shot by Smith. Was blocked by Madison Norwood, and Trey Dennis over to Robert Willard. Back to Dennis. Now Jamal with a fadeaway jumper. No good. Rebound. Rebound goes to Landon Smith. Smith heads down the floor with the ball over to Broom. Back to Lance Cook. Cook looking for someone to get rid of the ball to, and number 21 is Grant Amos. Makes himself available deep in the corner. There's a skip pass from one corner to the other, and looks like Landon Smith took it to the hoop strong between two defenders, makes the running jumper, and is fouled by Robert Willard. Substitutes for Winston-Salem, Jacob Brown and Landon Burton, with Norwood and Reams coming out of the ball game. We have Noah Hewitt back on the floor for Hickory. Landon Smith at the line. Shot is up and rolls around and is good. Will Duncan is also on the floor for Hickory. Duncan quickly makes his presence known by applying some defensive pressure and knocking the ball loose from Trey Dennis. Winston-Salem breaking the press. Trey Dennis with a long shot at the buzzer. Bounces off the glass, no good. That was a desperation shot with the clock running out in the first quarter. So with one period under our belt, the score is 8-7 in favor of Winston-Salem Christian. Coach Gary Bound is giving his young men some instructions. Another example of well-coached ball club, some fine young men playing basketball for Hickory Christian. We remember when they played in, like we said earlier, middle school, and how good they were. How good they were when they were middle school players, and they've grown and matured and become pretty solid basketball players for the high school team. Referees are calling both teams back onto the floor to get the second quarter underway. On the floor for the Lions is Jacob Brown, Robert Willard, Landon Burton, Jamal DeShields, and Trey Dennis. Dennis brings the ball across midcourt, throws it over to DeShields, back to Dennis, over to Willard. Willard's pass is intercepted by Hewitt. He drives the length of the floor. No good. His layup was too strong, but he is fighting to take that ball away from Winston-Salem's Landon Burton. Burton does get the pass over to DeShields. He comes down the floor. Stop for a pull-up jumper at the foul line, and it's good. Hickory quickly back down the floor, pushing it up at every chance they get. Broom trying to get an open man. Just pass into Kyler Pardon. His reverse layup is no good. Ball is knocked out of bounds. It will be Hickory's ball under their bucket with 7:10 to go in the first half. Nice feedback to Casey Broom. That inlet pass came into Landon Smith at the foul line, and Broom stepped in wide open down the baseline and had an easy layup. DeShields trying to dribble through 3 defenders. The ball is finally knocked loose and goes out of bounds. It will be Winston-Salem's ball with a 10-9 lead. 6:53 to go in the second quarter. Jamal DeShields looking for someone to throw it into. Trey Dennis breaks loose, takes the ball top of the key. Landon Burton sets the screen. Robert Willard lets it go for a three-pointer. No good, but Jacob Brown with a tap back and put it back in for 2 points. Hickory moving it back and forth around the perimeter. Number 11, Smith drove the lane, dishes it off to Broom, and he misses a short pull-up jumper. Rebound goes to DeShields. Robert Willard drives the baseline, no good. Off the glass, layup is no good. Hickory pushes it back up the floor with Broom to Smith. Pass intended for Hewitt is knocked away by Jamal DeShields. They have a substitution, Willard coming out, and Reams going in for Hickory Christian. Hewitt to Lance Cook. Cook drives. Pass is mishandled by Smith. He is guarded by Jacob Brown way out by the circle, and Brown is going to be called for the personal. He tried to knock the ball loose and made contact on the floor. Was called for the foul. 12-9, 5:44 to go and counting in the first half. Lance Cook looking for Hewitt. Hewitt back to Broom. Broom drives, dishes off to Smith, and short jumper, no good. Rebound. Nice box out and a nice rebound by Lance Cook. He was in the right place at the right time and put it back up left-handed off the boards for 2 points. Norwood on the floor for Winston-Salem. He sets a screen for Trey Dennis. Dennis throws it down low for Reams, who tried to run before he had possession of the ball, but it did go off the hands of a Hickory player. Now we have Mason Gore coming in at the place of Trey Dennis. Pass is inbounded to Norwood. Norwood to DeShields. Jumper, no good. In and out. Jacob Brown tried to put it back up, but it went off the glass, rebounded by Hickory. Landon Smith to Lance Cook. Smith with a three-point shot. No good. Off the iron. Rebounded by Madison Gore. Lead pass is a little bit too far, intended for Jacob Brown. Hickory taking the ball out of bounds. Smith to Cook, to Pardon, to Casey Broom. He drives the baseline. Nice move. Split two defenders. Fadeaway jumper off the board. Great play by Casey Broom. Hickory takes a 13-12 lead with Jamal DeShields. Bringing the ball out up the middle and losing control on a bad pass. It's taken back by Hickory. Mason Gore guarding Broom. Broom in the corner, drives the baseline. Going to be called a blocking foul against Madison Norwood. Madison tried to stop the penetration and forced Broom out of bounds. So he is called for the personal foul. Nice feed by Broom. Noah Hewitt, 5'11" guard, came in from the left side for a quick bounce pass from out of bounds and put up an attempted layup, but it was no good, but he was fouled. So Hewitt will get 2 free throws. First one is no good. 4:06 to go in the first half with Hickory Christian enjoying a 1-point lead. Broom comes out for a breather. Will Duncan goes into game for Broom. Second free throw is no good by Hewitt. Rebound, Madison Norwood. Jamaldi Shields bringing it up the floor. Little token half-court pressure. Reams tried to dish it into Jacob Brown, but it was not enough on that pass. It was knocked away and actually went out of bounds off Brown, so it will be Hickory's ball. Trey Dennis goes back in for Winston-Salem Christian. Hewitt, top of the key with the ball, looking for somebody to move in the offense for Hickory. There's a short jumper. That jumper was by Will Duncan. It was no good, but it is rebounded by Landon Smith. Back over to Lance Cook. Out to Hewitt. Long three-pointer is no good off the back of the iron. Jacob Brown pulls down the rebound off to Jamaldi Shields. DeShields dribbles down. Had a motion to go up the lane, but he pulled it back out. Now he drives the lane and goes off the board for a nice layup. Short jumper, 14-13, 3 minutes to go in the first half. Will Duncan for Hickory. Over to Lance Cook, back over to Smith. Smith dribbling out top of the key over to Hewitt in the corner. Hewitt looks down low, tries to feed it in to Pardon. Pardon goes up for a running jumper, and it is no good. Rebounded by Landon Smith, and it puts back for a short jumper, 15-14. Hickory Christian up 1 point with 2.5 to go. There's a long pass for Reams, and it's a 3-point shot for Samuel Reams. Took that pass and immediately went up with a 3-point beautiful shot, nothing but net. 2:25 to go in the first half. We've had some substitutions. Number 10 is Logan Burton, the other half of the Burton twins. He's playing down low for the Lions on defense. Casey Broom looking inside. Three-pointer attempt by Will Duncan. Hits the rim and bounces off for the Shields. He drives right up the gut of the lane, throws it to Smith or Jacob Brown, and he gives it to Samuel Reams, who misses a three-pointer, but Reams hurries back down the floor. And 2 attempts at short layups, as both of them are missed by Hickory, and Jamaldi Shields tried to hold up from making contact, but he did make contact with the body, and he's called for the foul on Casey Broom. So Casey Broom will be taking the ball out of bounds for Hickory over to Hewitt. Hewitt back to Broom. Broom dribbling out mid-court, looking for the offense to set up. Hewitt down in the corner. Dribbles back out front. Passes it off to Broom. Broom off to the right to the corner. To Duncan, back to Broom. Broom with a running jumper, no good. A little bit short. Casey Broom's running jump shot in the lane. Falls out of bounds, goes back to the Lions. Minute 12 to go in the half. Trey Dennis passes it to Reams, over to DeShields, to Landon Burton, number 12. DeShields drives, kicks it out to Reams. Drains his second three-pointer. Nice kick out by Jamaldi Shields. He drove down the lane. Defense collapsed. He fired it back out to the left corner to Reams and up with a three-pointer. Hickory attacking the zone. Now it's a 2-3 zone. Looks like for Hickory for Winston-Salem. Lance Cook over to Hewitt to Duncan. Duncan looking for someone to break open. He's guarded closely by the Burton twins over in the left side of the floor. Duncan to Cook to Pardon. Back out to Hewitt. Running jumper is rejected by Jamalde Shields, but there is going to be some body contact and a foul called on the floor. Number 15 with the pushing foul. That was Samuel Reams picking up that personal. It's going to send Mr. Hewitt to the line for 2 shots with 12.8 seconds to go. 20-15, your Lions on top. Hewitt's first free throw is rimmed in and out. No good. A little bit strong. Josh Hedges goes in for Logan Burton. And Landon Smith goes in for Will Duncan for Hickory Christian. Second free throw off the front of the iron, no good. Rebound by Smith, put back, no good. Three-pointer again by Smith off the front of the rim, no good. Rebound by Broom. There's a turnaround three-point shot thrown up by Broom, no good. A lot of contact, no call, no foul. And that's going to bring us to the close of the first half with Hickory Christian trailing 20-15 in a low-scoring ball game. There's been 2 fouls called against Hickory Christian and 5 fouls called against Winston-Salem. So it's been a relatively well-played ball game. Just a lot of shots are not falling. The rebounding has been pretty much even. Looks like on the stat sheet. We'll see how what changes these coaches make at halftime. Neither team really being able to take charge. Neither team able to establish anything as far as taking any kind of a lead. This is the biggest lead of the ball game with the 5-point deficit that Hickory Christian is facing at this time. And again, we got to reiterate the fact that these two teams do have a rivalry history, so to speak, from middle school and also from the recent high school teams from Winston-Salem Christian. And it's a great ball game, everything that we would expect. Hickory Christian cheerleaders are on the floor cheering their team on. Earlier in the game, in the girls' game, it was Hickory Christian winning by, I think it was over 25 points. Maybe I think it was 57-24 maybe, or 27-54. They took control of the game very early and never really were threatened by Winston-Salem. We are going to take a break for a few commercials. Again, the score at halftime is 20-15 in favor of the Winston-Salem Christian Lions. We'll be back in a minute.
Hey, it's Biggie, and I'm here with the 2013 Barbecue Pitmasters Alabama champions, Ricky Wayne and Pig Daddy of Bibbs Downtown. Gentlemen, what's it like being reality stars?
Hey, it's almost as good as Bibbs Ribs, baby.
We're not Eastern or Western, we're Western.
I'll tell you one thing, I never trust a skinny cook, and these guys got it going on.
Hey, you can bring your family in, or if you like Biggie, come on in on Friday and get your Bibbs fixed.
It's barbecue with a downtown vibe.
They've got dine-in, takeout, catering, and a private event space. Be sure to follow them on Twitter and Facebook, and you can always check them out at BibbsDowntown.com.
Hey, this is Leonard Burton, varsity basketball player from Winston-Salem Christian School. You're listening to TriadSportsCoverage.com.
Is your business going to die alone? Never meet the customers of its dreams? Just sit on the couch crying into a carton of ice cream while other businesses are out there thriving? New Expression can help. Without the right marketing, you're a wallflower. Without a great website, you're not going to turn heads. And without social media, you don't even have a friend to tell people what a great personality you have. New Expression can give your business a total brand makeover and get you out there, attracting customers. It used to be about who had the biggest ad in the phone book. Today, customers hit the web to locate and research before they call. If Google isn't steering customers to your site or they're not impressed by what they see, you're missing out. New Expression does web design and can provide a free analysis to see how your site stacks up against the competition. Don't have time to constantly update social media? Want cool custom apps and graphics? New Expression can help there too. From print design to mobile marketing to online presence to brand identity, New Expression can help you express yourself. Find out more at nuexpression.com.
Today, community means more than the place you live. It's groups of people connected by shared interests and similar experiences. Your yoga class, your work colleagues, your book club. With all the communities in your life, shouldn't there be one for your financial life? We're First Community, financial experts here to work with you on your personal, business, investments, and insurance needs. That's the power of community.
Hi, this is Miranda McKinney, Athletic Director at Winston-Salem Christian School, and you're listening to TriadSportsCoverage.com.
We are back live, coming to you from St. Peter's World Outreach Basketball Facility in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. The score at halftime is Hickory Christian 15 and Winston-Salem Christian 20. It's been an interesting ball game as far as not a lot of scoring, not a lot of controversial calls, which is sometimes can play into a ball game, but it's been a clean ball game, very well played. Coach McKinney's over here conversing with the scorekeepers, and he's has to be pleased with what he's seen so far. The team has came out with some pep in their game, and even with two players that we normally count on not being here, the Lions have been able to execute their offense. They've been able to penetrate the full court pressure from Hickory Christian, been able to get the ball down the floor, made some good passes. Jamal Shields has been very active, driving the lane, dishing it off, or else going up for the layup. So Jamal is actually the leading scorer for the Winston-Salem Lions, Christian Lions. Jamal is actually averaging 19.6 points per ball game. And last year when the team didn't have as many players as they have this year and didn't have the maybe some of the talent, Jamal, I think, averaged well over 30, maybe even 40 points a game. He was the go-to player. He was the point guard. He was the low post player. He was Mr. Everything, and he's a great ball player, hoping to take his talents to the next level and play some college ball. He's a senior this year at Winston-Salem Christian. He had transferred in last year from Winston-Salem Prep and has been a great addition to the program. And Coach McKinney has been very pleased with Jamal's attitude toward being a team player and contributing as a team player. And Jamal is the kind of player that can, in most cases, can score about any time he wants to. He has that ability to drive. He has the ability to step back beyond the arc and drain a three. So he is definitely a great player, and we certainly look forward to some great production out of Jamal throughout the season. The other player that I've been really impressed with, Jacob Brown is a sophomore that he's averaging 7.7 points a game, but Jacob occupies the lane, does a lot of things that go unnoticed. He also has rebounding 7.7 rebounds a game, leading the team, and he's pulled down 77 rebounds in 10 ball games. And Jacob he's the kind of player that he kind of performs quietly and doesn't look for stats. He's not out there to make himself look good. He just does the things that you have to do to be a good team player and to contribute in your team's success. And point guard Trey Dennis, I remember Trey when he was a middle school player for Joey McKinney at Winston-Salem Christian. And Trey he's a floor general. He brings the ball up the court, does what's expected of him, dishes it off, runs the offense, keeps the team motivated on the floor, keeps them moving. And then Landon Burton, number 12, I've seen him play 3 years now, I guess, maybe 4 years. And he and his brother Logan are two of the players that you want on your team. Both of them are workhorses. And Landon is the type of player that, even though he didn't have the size that you like to have for a person playing down low, he's very very aggressive, very hungry for the ball, plays great defense, very energetic on defense, keeping the players honest. He doesn't give up a lot of free shots or any. Doesn't leave the lane open for anyone to drive. He's a great baseline defensive player, and also on the offensive end, he's not afraid to take the ball to the hoop. If he gets a pass down in the corner, he doesn't hesitate driving amongst the timbers of the taller players, and he takes a lot of hits. His body takes a lot of abuse in the ball game, but Landon's always impressed me as a kind of player you want to have on your team, because when you need something done defensively, Burton's the kind of kid that will go in and he will do it for you. So we are just about ready to get these final two quarters underway here at St. Peter's World Outreach here in Winston-Salem. We're located off Old Lexington Road here, right off of 52 Clemensville Road. It's a great facility. They have two basketball courts. One runs one way, and then one runs east and west, one runs north and south. And they're playing on what would be the main court here at the location, which is one of the two home courts for the Winston-Salem Christian Lions. As you know, they don't have a court to accommodate high school basketball, so they play here, and tomorrow night they'll play at College Park Baptist in Winston-Salem. We're back underway with Hickory with the ball. Broom dribbling out front. Skip pass over in the corner to Duncan. Duncan back to Broom. Pressure defense, keeping the ball on the perimeter. They can't get the ball in. Number 25 is Lance Cook with a shot. No good. Bounces off out of bounds. It will go to the Lions. Jacob Brown taking the ball in bounds to Trey Dennis. Dennis dribbles up to the mid-court line, crosses over looking for the offense to set up to Landon Burton. Lazy pass is intercepted in the corner, intended for Jacob Brown. Lance Cook goes the length of the floor for an easy layup. Burton wasn't paying attention to his lazy pass in the corner, and it was intercepted when Cook stepped in the passing lane and took it the length of the floor. Reams is on the floor for Winston-Salem. Passes over to Reams in the corner for another three-point shot, way short. He hurried that shot just a little bit, and Broom takes it down the floor. Going to be called a blocking foul on Trey Dennis. Dennis thought he was going to get a charging foul called against Broom, but referee decided that he was not stationary, and Broom will be awarded two free throws with 6:49 to go in the third. First one is up and no good, off the front of the rim. Second shot for Casey Broom. It's up and no good, off the back of the iron. Great aggressive move by Landon Smith. He knocks the ball loose for a rebound for Hickory. Broom again drives the lane, but he kicks it back out. He's defended by, there's a pass intended for Duncan or for Smith that is intercepted, and Jacob Brown drives the baseline, lays it up and in for 2 points. Casey Broom running the offense for Hickory. Down in the corner for Will Duncan. Back over to Lance Cook to Broom. Back to Cook. Back to Pardon. Over to Will Duncan, and that was a long three-pointer by Smith that is no good. Rebounded by Jamal DeShields. He goes the length of the floor and is fouled in his layup attempt. Basket was no good, but he is fouled by number 5, Casey Broom, for the Hickory Christian Knights. DeShields at the line for 2. First shot is up and good for Jamal DeShields. Noah Hewitt will be going back in the ballgame for Hickory Christian, and Will Duncan will be taking a seat on the bench. DeShields with the second free throw, and it is also good. So the Lions have their biggest lead of the ball game, 24-17. Broom bringing it up over to Hewitt. Hewitt dribbles back midcourt, back out to Cook, to Broom. Broom over to Cook, pass down to Pardon, over to Hewitt. Shot up, no good. Rebounded by Landon Smith. Smith to Cook, to Broom. Now Hewitt feeds it into Pardon. Dishes it out to Smith. Smith misses a short jumper. Pardon fighting under the boards for a rebound. They're going to call a jump ball, I believe. There's 3 bodies on the floor. Had to be some contact, but more times than not, the referee will call a jump ball because there is a lot of contact and everybody's going after the ball. So alternating possession did go to the Lions, and Mr. Dennis brings it up the floor. Over to Burton, to Dennis. Back over to Burton. Burton to Brown in the corner. Brown looks back out to Burton, over to Trey Dennis. A long shot from downtown is no good. Jamal DeShields grabs the rebound between Smith and Pardon, and he is actually fouled on the way down by number 23, Kyle Pardon. Kyle is a 6'4" junior for the Hickory Christian Knights. Landon Burton inbound to Jacob Brown. Jacob actually traveled. He came down with the ball at the foul line and tried to make a move. So Jacob traveled and unforced turnover. Hickory Christian with the ball. Looks like a little bit of confusion on their offense. Casey Broom trying to make a pass that actually bounced off the rim. Is brought in by Hewitt. Hewitt down the corner to Lance Cook, and no good. Rebound fought for by Casey Broom. Casey muscled his way in, got the position, and pulled that down and put it back up for 2 for Hickory Christian. Casey Broom he's a great little ball player, very active both ends of the floor. Three-pointer by Reams is short. It's pulled down by Landon Smith. 1-on-2. Smith driving against Reams and Trey Dennis. And a reverse layup is good by Landon Smith. 3-point ball game, 3:50 and counting to go in the third quarter. Coach Joey McKinney up on the sideline. Long three-pointer by Jamal DeShields. DeShields buries the 3 and is actually fouled in the process. Hits the floor. Referee telling the substitutes to stay off the floor until Casey Broom committed that foul on Jamal. Jamal did convert that three-pointer from way out downtown range. Lance Cook comes out for a breather. DeShields with a 4-point play for Winston-Salem Christian. And we have a number 14, White. There must have been a warning. So Jacob Brown playing down low on defense. The pass comes in, and there's going to be a foul called. Ball was fed into the lane for Pardon, and he is fouled. Will be Hickory's ball under their bucket with Broom taking the ball out. Hewitt way out top looking for someone to pass it to. Goes down in the deep corner to Will Duncan. Duncan's ball is actually taken away by Landon Burton. He goes the length of the floor and misses an easy layup. Trey Dennis takes it back away, and a long three by DeShields is no good. A little helter-skelter going on here with both teams. Sloppy passing, and that ball almost came to me for an errant pass, but Broom picks it up, slows it down, tells his players to get in position in the corner for Duncan. Duncan to Hewitt, back to Broom. He sets for a three-pointer, no good. No one goes after the rebound. It bounces out deep to Hewitt for the Knights. Broom drives the baseline. Nice play, feed off to Landon Smith. That was a rebound and a putback with two lines standing flat-footed under the boards, not going after the rebound. Josh Hedges goes up and is rejected under the bucket for Winston-Salem. Pardon to Smith to Hewitt. No good. Rebound off, bounces deep off the boards for Jacob Brown. Brown, that was a trip call against. Looks like Trey Dennis was trying to dribble. Trying to dribble the ball down the floor and had his feet tied up with Kyler Pardon. That was a very unfortunate call against the Knights. But the referee did blow the whistle, made the call, foul against Pardon. Looks like Jamal took a couple steps before he put the ball on the ground, so traveling call against Jamal DeShields, turns the ball back over to Hickory with 2 minutes to go in the third quarter. 5-point lead for the Winston-Salem Christian Lions. Broom over to Cook. There's someone got hit, looked like in the head. It's Trey Dennis on the floor. He's in some discomfort. Don't know if he may have caught an errant elbow when they were running through the lane. So they have obviously stopped the clock, and Coach McKinney and Coach Tennant with the AD, Miranda McKinney, coming out on the floor trying to assess the injury to Trey Dennis. Trey is now looks like it may be a leg. It could be a cramp. He went down and made a lot of sound like he was in a lot of pain. So he limps off the floor with Coach Tennant helping him get to the bench. So the play will resume with Hickory Christian taking the ball out under their own basket. Josh Hedges goes into the ball game for Trey Dennis. Casey Broom with a three-pointer, 26-28, 2-point ball game. DeShields running the point for Winston-Salem with Trey Dennis on the bench. DeShields with a long three-point shot, no good off the back of the iron. Madison Norwood's in the ball game now for Winston-Salem. Norwood and Reams are playing down low for Coach McKinney on defense. Casey Broom dribbling out top of the key, backing it back out, looking for the offense to set up. Landon Smith over to Landon Smith had a easy layup and went off the back of the rolled off the rim for no good. And DeShields drives the lane, dishes it out to Landon Burton. Landon for a three-pointer rebound. Reams dishes it back to Jamal DeShields. Fadeaway jumper's blocked, knocked away, put up by Josh Hedges. It's knocked away, no good. Broom drives the lane. He travels a little bit. They did call that. he picked up his dribble and was still too far from the bucket and took a couple of steps, turning the ball back over to Winston-Salem. Tyler Pardon comes to the bench for Hickory to take a breather, with Hewitt going back on the floor with number 21, Van Amos, also out on the floor for Hickory. DeShields drives right down the heart of the lane for a layup, and it's good. 30-26 as the third period comes to a close. 10 seconds and counting. Three-pointer by Cook, no good. Rebound by Landon Smith. Turnaround jumper, and it is no good off the iron. DeShields with the rebound, but he loses control. It bounces off his leg out of bounds with 0.2 seconds to go in the ball game. It will be Hickory's ball on their end of the floor. They're going to put more time on the board on the clock. 1.2 seconds. They are over discussing the right amount of time to put on the clock, and the referee is asking for 1.2, and that's what it should be, 1.2. I think the scorekeeper agrees with me. So they're going to get that clock situation straightened out, and Hickory will have the ball at their end of the floor with, I'm sure it's going to be 1.2 seconds on the clock when they do resume play here, with the 4-point lead for Winston-Salem, 30-26. So we do have a break in the action here with just 1 second to go in the third quarter. And the referee is trying to get the clock changed to 1.2. Some discussion with the clock operator. And they're still trying to get the clock to show the right time. Coach Tennant comes over and asks the referee what the correct time should be, and the referee has made it pretty clear that there should be 1.2 seconds to go in the game, or in the third quarter. Don't know if we're going to be able to get this adjustment made. The clock operator is a little bit confused on how to make this clock back up to 1.2 seconds, but Coach McKinney taking the opportunity to bring his team over, and Coach Bowen is also taking the opportunity to talk to his players and set up their last second shot here in the third quarter. We have a pretty good crowd of fans on hand looking across the way. There's a pretty good number of parents in the stands. Both teams have their cheerleaders here in the gymnasium, cheering for their respective teams. Their coach is coming over to offer some advice to the clock operator. And they're still debating on how to set this clock correct. And so taking quite a while to get this clock reset. Right now they got it at 12 seconds, which is not correct. But they are going to try to get it down to 1.2. Referee wants to come on the air with me for his dead time. But they are going to get this correct eventually. It may 12 seconds. We're going to take a station break. Identification. We'll be back on the air just momentarily.
Hi, this is Miranda McKinney, Athletic Director at Winston-Salem Christian School, and you're listening to TriadSportsCoverage.com.
We are back, and they have got the clock set at 1.4 seconds. And Hickory will take the ball out in front of their bench. Broom with the throw in. Throw right back to Broom, and it is a touch-and-go shot that is no good. That was a inbound pass quickly to Landon Smith, and he immediately tossed it back to Broom, who took a three-point shot from the far corner and bounced off the rim, no good. So for all that time and effort, we ran off 1.4 seconds, and there was no more points were scored in the third quarter. So we will begin the final quarter of this ball game with a 30-26 lead for the hometown Winston-Salem Christian Lions. And you can hear their cheerleaders in the background trying to wake up their fans. Again, it's a low-scoring affair here with both teams playing a lot of good defense and just not a lot of offense being generated. When there has been some offense, we've had some layups and not been really hitting a lot of layups. It's something that a coach, I'm sure, is not real pleased about when you can't convert layups one-on-one or two-on-one layups. So to start this fourth and final 8-minute quarter, Hickory will take the ball out at midcourt, and Smith will inbound it to Broom. Broom trying to get the offensive set up top over to Smith. He looks back down in the corner to Hewitt. Hewitt trying to break something loose. Broom looking for someone to cut across the baseline. Corner for Smith. He started to look for a shot, pulled it back down. Now we have the ball fed in low to Broom. Kick back out to Smith, over to Cook, back to Smith. Three-point shot off the back of the rim. Broom is going to drive the baseline. Kicks out to Smith, to Cook, to Hewitt. Hewitt's pass is briefly knocked away. Smith in the corner to... Ooh, three-point shot by Noah Hewitt. As you can hear Coach Bound say for Hickory, a great possession. They moved the ball around and got the open shot. There's a bad pass by Trey Dennis. Dennis is back in the lineup after going down with what appeared to be a cramp in the third quarter, but he is back out on the floor. Looks like he's in good shape. Robert Willard's on the floor for Winston-Salem Christian. Willard gets the ball from Dennis, back to Dennis, into Brown. Brown is fouled from behind. They tried to feed it into Jacob Brown at the foul line. He went up to catch that ball and was hit from behind by, I think, Kyler Pardon. Inbound pass to Trey Dennis. He drives the lane. Running jumper, no good. Rebounded by Smith. Landon Smith out to Broom. Broom or Cook or Broom pushes up the right sideline. Running jumper, no good. Rebound goes to Madison Norwood. Madison's a big body under the boards, and he fought hard, got that rebound. Running shot by Robert Willard, short in the baseline. Smith, breakaway 1-on-2. Reverse layup off the board, no good. Rebound, Landon Burton. Ball is loose. Is picked up by Trey Dennis. So they had possession of Winston-Salem, had brief possession of the ball, and Coach McKinney yelled for a timeout and kept that possession. That was going to be a turnover in all likelihood, but the referee heard the coach yell for a timeout and granted the 30-second timeout to Coach McKinney. Both coaches are giving their team instructions. This is coming down to a great ball game right now. It's a 1-point lead for Winston-Salem Christian on the floor for Winston-Salem is Jamal DeShields, Trey Dennis, Landon Burton, Madison Norwood, and Samuel Reams. Dennis brings it up, feeds it over to DeShields, back to Dennis, into Burton. He misses it, but Norwood takes the loose ball underneath, misses the short putback, but it's recovered by Jamal DeShields, and he hits a two-pointer for the Lions. Hewitt throws it off the leg of Samuel Reams. It will be Hickory's ball. Now Willard goes in for Landon Burton. DeShields and Norwood under the board, and Reams for the Lions. Landon Smith with the ball out top for Hickory, over to Hewitt, to Broom, to Cook, back to Smith, and Casey Broom. Nothing but net. Beautiful three-point shot. Great form, great follow-through. Tie ball game, 32 apiece with 5:20 to go. Trey Dennis over to Reams. Reams looks for DeShields in the lane, off the board. 2 points for Jamal DeShields. Nice feed by Reams. There's a running jumper, no good by Kyler Pardon. Ball's back up the end of the floor. Mr. DeShields from downtown buries a three from deep beyond the arc. Casey Broom over to Lance Cook, to Hewitt. Short jumper by Broom is no good. Rebound. Landon Smith fighting for the rebound. Great hustle by Landon. He draws a foul on number 13, Trey Dennis. Madison Norwood takes a seat on the bench for Winston-Salem, and Josh Hedges is in the game. There's an intercepted pass by Robert Willard. A 1-on-2, he's going to very smartly back it out to that Trey Dennis. Dennis to Willard in the corner. Three-point attempt, no good. Rebound, Jamal DeShields is going to be called for. It's going to be a jump ball. DeShields came in from the baseline and pulled that rebound down with Lance Cook. And the referee called a jump ball. Possession shows we had the clock was moving while they're going to put 4:15, I believe, on the clock. So we have a stoppage of play again with the clock malfunction, but they do have it set back at 4:15. Jump ball, alternating possession. And so the Hickory coach calls a 30-second timeout during all this confusion. The Lions have quickly jumped out to a 5-point lead with the long three-pointer by Jamal DeShields. And it's Lions ball under their bucket with Jamal taking it out. On the floor would be Samuel Reams, Josh Hedges, Robert Willard, and Trey Dennis. Willard dribbles out down in the corner, drives, goes up. Thinks he was fouled, but they didn't call it. DeShields steals the ball, and there's a two-pointer. DeShields could have been disaster, but Jamal very alertly picked up a loose ball, drove to the hoop, converted the layup, and was fouled. And a three-pointer the old-fashioned way. It's 40-32. Lions on top. Hewitt in the corner for Hickory. No good. DeShields with the rebound. There's a full-court pass to Josh Hedges, and he misses a layup. Nice defense by Kyle Pardon. Broom looking for Hewitt. Hewitt over to Lance Cook. Cook back out to Broom. Broom over to Landon Smith. holding the ball up over his head, looking for a man to cut open. Lance Cook, top of the key. Lance guarded by, there's an over-the-back foul by Josh Hedges. So the foul's called on Josh Hedges, and over-the-back foul. Broom bringing it inbounds to Lance Cook, back into Landon Smith. It's knocked away. Got a 2-on-1. Nice dish back. Oh, man. Robert Willer had a layup, dish it off to Trey Dennis, and Dennis missed the layup. Again, in the middle of confusion, Coach McKinney quickly calls a timeout when his team had possession. Stops the clock with 3:14 to play, and the score is 40-32 as your Winston-Salem Christian Lions have, with the help of Jamal DeShields, has stretched out a little bit of a lead. It's certainly not a lead that's insurmountable. As we talk about all the time, the three-point shots can cut into a lead in a hurry, and we know that Hickory Christian has plenty of players that can drain the three-pointers. So we'll see how Coach Bound sets up his team with an 8-point deficit. Coach McKinney is trying to get his team fired up and really getting in their face, telling them to if you really want it, go out and win this ball game. And it's going to be a matter of who wants it the most, because both these teams are pretty much equally talented. Robert Willard will be throwing the ball inbounds for Winston-Salem Christian. Trey Dennis, the ball is taken away by Casey Broom. Those nonchalant passes are very easily slapped away by Hickory Christian. Winston-Salem's going to have to do a better job and not telegraph their passes and not just lob them in. Jamal DeShields actually lost his balance, and now all of a sudden with the layup by Broom, it's down to a 5-point ball game or 4-point ball game. That was about 50 seconds of very sloppy basketball played by Winston-Salem Christian, and Coach McKinney has gone to the bench. He's going to put Jacob Brown back in the game for Josh Hedges. I don't believe they can make a substitution. Hedges does take a seat on the bench, and Brown gets up and is on the court. DeShields is a little bit of a limp. He's trying to work out whatever it is on his ankle. His right ankle is kind of giving him a little problem. So he is on the bench trying to regroup and take care of that ankle. Won't call it an injury, but a nuisance. Landon Burton inbounds to Trey Dennis. Dennis brings up floor. Casey Broom trying to draw a charge, falls down. Jacob Brown lost concentration, got up in the air, nowhere to go with the ball, and comes down for a travel. Another unforced turnover. Robert Willard comes out of the ball game. DeShields is back on the floor for the Lions. Broom brings it up for Hickory Christian, looking over for Smith. Smith looks back down the lane, nobody open, over to Lance Cook in the corner. Cook to the middle for Pardon. Cook gets the ball back, dribbles back out over to Pardon. Pardon top of the key, looking for someone to give it to. Over to Broom. Broom dribbles it back out. Now he feeds it in the corner to Smith. Three-pointer off the front of the rim. Rebound, Jamal DeShields. DeShields is on the move. Full court. Oh, he is fouled by Kyler Pardon. Jamal took that ball coast to coast and was double-teamed when he went up for his layup. Broom and I believe Landon Smith were foul's going to be called on Broom, number 5. Timeout called by Hickory Christian. Minute 56 to go in the ball game, a 4-point game, 40-36 with the Lions on top. These are the kind of ball games you really like because the coaches have to get involved, have to make decisions, have to play strategy. And you can tell by both these coaches, Coach Bound from Hickory Christian and Coach McKinney from Winston-Salem Christian, they're both basketball coaches, technicians, and they understand the ball game. They're fundamentally, they coach fundamentals. They coach the players to respond to their direction. And this is going to come down to a real interesting minute and 56 seconds to go in the game, and the game is still in doubt. There's no leads safe enough with these two teams, and Coach McKinney's had to call on some different players with being 2 players short, and they have really stepped up and done everything he's asked them to do, and it's been a great contest with Mr. DeShields with his free throw. It's no good. Rolled around and rolled out. Second free throw coming up for Jamal DeShields. Ball is up and rolls in and out. No good. He misses 2 free throws. Broom pushing the ball up the floor. Coach wanting him to hurry it up. Smith at the top of the key over to Cook. Cook back to Hewitt. Hewitt looks over to his right, fires it back to Cook on the left. Cook over to Broom. Broom drives the lane, runs over. They're going to call a block. They're going to call a block on, and they're going to call a technical foul. Referee called a blocking foul against Samuel Reams. Reams was not, obviously didn't agree with that call and was very demonstrative in his dislike, and referee quickly added a technical foul, which is very uncharacteristic. First free throw by Broom is good. He will get one more from the blocking foul. So that's going to make it a 3-point game, and now he misses the second free throw. So now they will shoot the technical free throws. Broom will get 2 technical foul shots, and they'll have the ball half court. So here's Broom's third shot. Third free throw is good. 38-40, 2-point ball game. And again, Broom at the free throw line for his second free throw for the technical. It rolls in for a 39-40 ball game now, and Hickory Christian will remain with the ball. That was a bad turn of events for the home team. Reams losing control and getting that technical foul. Hickory Christian with the ball now. Smith or Broom in the corner over to Landon Smith. Smith with the ball above his head, looking for someone to throw it to, but a short jumper on the baseline, no good. Rebound fought for by Brown and Jamal DeShields. And DeShields pulls it down and tries to penetrate the 2 defenders, and one of them, number 25, is called for the foul. Lance Cook is called for the foul. That's only the 16th foul, so it'll be a out-of-bounds play for the Lions. Landon Burton looking for someone to cut open, and Trey Dennis breaks open. Nice. That was a feed to Samuel Reams down the corner. Reams may have gotten away with a walk, but he converted the layup. Three-point shot, no good. Put up by Cook. And number 11 is going to be called for the foul for Hickory Christian. Landon Smith called for the foul. Will Duncan will be coming in for Lance Cook. Cook has lost his 25 has lost his contact, looks like, and he's over on the bench trying to take care of that issue with number 15, Samuel Reams, going to the free throw line for Winston-Salem Christian, and his free throw is good. 1:05 to go. Winston-Salem on top, 43-39. Samuel Reams going through his pre-shot routine. Free throw is up and nothing but net. Great form by Samuel Reams. 44-39, 1 minute to go in the ball game. Smith, ball is tapped away by Landon Burton right into, almost into my lap. Ball will go out to Hickory, but Casey Broom taking it out over to Landon Smith. Back to Broom. Broom dribbles up. Look for someone to cut open. Nobody's moving. Landon Smith way out deep, top of the key. Drives the lane, dishes it out in the corner to Pardon. He drives the lane. Ball is blocked, but it's rebounded by Broom. He puts it back up and is fouled. He's fouled by Trey Dennis. Dennis acknowledges the fact that he grabbed his arm going back up. A lot of action going on under the bucket with 38.9. Broom trying to take this game on his shoulders. He's done everything he can do to bring his team a win. Very, very strong ball player under the bucket at the free throw line for 2 shots. First shot is up and good. Well, it'll be a 1-and-1. It was not a 2-shot foul. It was a 1-and-1 situation. Both teams in the 1-and-1, and the possession arrow favors Hickory. He misses the second shot, and Reams got the rebound, but it was taken away, and Broom drains a three-pointer. Full timeout with 32 seconds to go. Casey Broom with a three-point shot. So the scoreboard shows 44-43 in favor of Winston-Salem Christian. 32.1 sec on the clock. Now they've changed it to 44-44, so it is a tie ball game with 32.1 seconds to go in the game. .1 seconds ago. Tie ball game. Ball in possession of Winston-Salem Christian with Landon Burton, Jacob Brown, Jamaldi Shields, Samuel Reams, and Trey Dennis on the floor for the Lions. Casey Broom, Landon Smith on the floor for, and Lance Cook. There's a over-the-top pass, and Jacob Brown drives down the baseline on a great feed from Jamaldi Shields from half court. 2-point play was good. Casey Broom with the ball. Clock is moving. Ball in the corner. Pressure defense. Number 11, Landon Smith. A lot of contact, no call. Trey Dennis with the ball. He was fouled immediately to get the clock stopped. 3.9 seconds ago. 2-point ball game. A lot of contact under the bucket. Landon Smith drove, lowered his shoulder, and there was contact made, but no call was coming from the referees. And now Trey Dennis was fouled on when he gained possession of the ball and was going to run the clock out going down the floor, and was fouled immediately, which is what you want to do to stop the clock. So Trey Dennis, number 13, the floor general for the Winston-Salem Christian Lions, with his first free throw. Nothing but net, 47-44, 3.9. This would make it a 2-possession game if he can convert the second free throw with 3.9. Coach McKinney calls a full timeout. Coach Bound tells the referee he's going to call an immediate timeout, I think. So you always want to let the referee be aware of what you're going to do, because once that clock starts, there's a reaction time before it starts again when you call timeout. So the referee's going to be aware of what they're going to try to set up. But this is going to be a critical free throw for Trey Dennis, the second of two shots that he made the first one. It's a 3-point ball game, which at the current time it's a one-possession game. This free throw would give the Lions a 4-point lead, which would be a two-possession ball game. Hickory Christian they've made their plans and they're heading back on the floor. And they've got Lance Cook, Landon Smith, Casey Broom, Kyler Parton, and Noah Hewitt on the floor for Hickory Christian. And Coach McKinney will send Trey Dennis back to the line for his second free throw, along with Samuel Reams, Landon Burton, Jacob Brown, and Jamal DeShields on the floor for Winston-Salem Christian. Burton and Reams are back deep. No good. Follow up by Jacob Brown. Jacob Brown had a chance to put the game away on that rebound and didn't get it to fall. And the ball was eventually knocked out of bounds off the one of the Winston-Salem Christian lines, either Jamal DeShields or Jacob Brown. But now we have 1.2 seconds to go in the game. Possession arrow is pointed toward the visiting team, Hickory Christian. 47-44. In all likelihood, will be a desperation three-point shot, and I would almost put my money on number 5, Casey Broom, to take the shot. Young man's been hot from the three-point line. He's been a great free throw shooter. He's been doing everything that he can do to bring his team this victory, and it's going to be a last-second attempt by the Hickory Christian Knights. Coach McKinney, I'm sure he's telling his troops that whatever you do, do not foul anyone. One way to lose this ball game is to foul Broom taking a three-pointer, and he hits the three-point shot, then makes a free throw with no time on the clock to win the ball game. So they will have to bring the ball the length of the floor in 1.2 seconds. Probably going to make a throw to half court and maybe call a quick timeout, or they could turn and shoot it. So it's Lance Cook. Ball is intercepted at half court by Landon Burton. The Lions set a play up and everything was in motion, and as the pass came to half court, Landon Burton stepped in front of the passing lane and brought the ball in as the clock ran out. A great ball game by the Winston-Salem Christian Lions, and a great ball game by the Hickory Christian Knights. I'm looking for the coach to come over, have a few words before he goes to the locker room, and he's going to bring Jamal DeShields over to talk to me. That was quite a ball game, and it was really an exciting ball game to say the least. Great effort on the part of everybody on the Winston-Salem Christian Lions team. We'll talk to Mr. McKinney first. Coach McKinney, first of all, man, congratulations on a win. I know it means a lot to win any ball game, and you were prepared when you came in here, and it was a great game.
It was a win. We'll take it any way we can get it. It wasn't pretty. We got a lot of work to do.
But you know, I was impressed by the fact that you had to use some players that don't get a lot of playing time, and they didn't. I mean, they held their own. I thought Samuel Reams he did a lot for your team today, I thought.
Yeah, Sam has been earning the trust of these guys, especially the guy that's standing next to me. He had a good play early on where he drove into the lane and kicked to him and hit a three. I thought that was a big play for us. And Samuel's coming along. I just think we need to have more people step up like Samuel's doing right now.
And I thought it was appropriate that a coach who stresses defense, you close the game out with a steal on a defensive play. I mean, that's your style of play.
Yeah.
And the kids never quit hustling. It was and you got to give a lot of credit to Hickory. They came, loaded for bear. They were going to give you everything they had.
We always know that they're going to come in. We know what they got. We know who they are, and they play hard. I thought we fought. Obviously losing Jordan early was tough. We're going to be praying for him and hoping that he gets well. But when things like that happen, it's a learning lesson for the rest of the guys that for a while the only person we had playing was number 3. And we're not going to win many games if we're standing around and watching number 3 play.
Although he is fun to stand around and watch, but you don't want to do it as a teammate.
he is fun to watch, and he's a great guy. And Jamal's come a long way this year. He's doing things that I didn't see him do last year, and he's having a great senior season so far.
Well, again, congratulations. I'll let you get with the team. I'm going to have a word with Jamal.
All right, sounds good.
Jamal, congratulations on this was a big win for Winston-Salem Christian. I mean, Hickory has always been a rival.
Yeah, that's what Coach told me.
And I know that it was a great ball game. And like he just said, and I watched you play last year when you were the go-to guy.
Yes, sir.
You know, if we scored 50 points, you had to score 45 of them. But this year, you've got talent around you. You've got kids that want to play. How did it feel this year to know that you're still a go-to guy? You can do everything. You can rebound. You can shoot free throws. You can shoot three. But you can dish it off to a Jacob Brown or somebody that is going to take up a little slack. Does that make you feel more confident about how things are going?
Yeah, it makes me feel real confident knowing that if I don't have a good look at the shot, I can always give it to one of my teammates and they can finish the job.
Now, I like your quick move where you're kind of going slow motion at the top of the key, and all of a sudden you dart through the lane, right through 2 defenders. Is that you kind of set that up and
Yes,
you know
sir.
what's going to happen? Because, I mean, besides being fast and good, you're quick too. And you're a pleasure to watch. And I wish you good luck the rest of the year. This is the first time we've broadcast the game, and your name came up quite a bit because you're a very active player. And I love it when you hit those 3-pointers.
Thank you.
Now, when you don't hit them, I get nervous. But that was a great ball game. Was it exciting to play as it was to watch? Because there was a lot of good players on the floor.
Yeah, it was very exciting. We finally got a good competition game, and it was good to have.
I thought it was, coming in, I knew it was going to be a tough game, but I'm really proud of how everybody performed.
Yeah,
everybody on the team. I mean, it was like there was no let up on anybody. So congratulations, man. I'll see you tomorrow night. Maybe we can win another one.
Yes, sir.
Jamal DeShields, great game. That was number 3, Jamal DeShields from Winston-Salem Christian. Great ball game tonight. We will have an article up later on TriadSportsCoverage.com with the stats and the scores and whatever. Again, this has been our first broadcast of the Lions sporting events, and we want to say we appreciate the athletic director, Miranda McKinney, and the head of school, Dr. Brian Wolf, and Coach Joey McKinney for his support, and Coach Ellison Cooper from the girls program. So we'll be back tomorrow night at 4:55, coming to you live from College Park Baptist in Winston-Salem. Doing the game tomorrow night will be Caleb Walter and Parker Southern. I'm trying to think who they were. I'm looking at my notes, and sometimes I misplace things. But it was a hard-fought victory for the Lions. Great ball game. Hometown fans will be happy about the outcome of this game. And, again, the victory goes to the Lions. We'll be back on tomorrow night when the girls will play Burlington Christian at 5 o'clock, and that will be followed by the boys playing Oak Level Baptist. So for everyone at TriadSportsCoverage.com, which tonight happens to be me and Cameron Hutchins, who's taking pictures, this is Mike Pettaway saying thank you for joining us. We appreciate you tuning in, and come back tomorrow night for some more Winston-Salem Lions basketball.